Salute, salute. The streets are buzzing. Welcome everyone to the chat show. Hope you're well. Where we shout you out. We keep it 100. Healthy Knicks talk. And a lot to talk about. We're going to get into everything like we do. No topic is out of bounds. We get through the good, the bad, the ugly. And we've got a lot to talk about in this show. The chat's already popping on fire. Salute everyone. Salute. That's a tap. Kaiser Soze, the Knicks, Be Civilized, May 4th, Illmatics, the Knicks, salute, Drew, and everyone up in here, Pudge, nice, let's get it, Bonson, salute, hope everyone's well. Hey, what a game tonight. We're going to get through the tank standings, Tankathon, we're going to chop up the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll start with the good first, and what a night for young studs for the New York Knicks, Obi Toppin, and Emanuel Quickly messed up the tank, but hey, I can't be mad with tonight's performance because it was just deserved, right? It was just beautiful to see a player who's, had starved of opportunities finally show what he can do. Salute Jarvis, salute. Starved of opportunities and finally showing that he is no scrub. Obi Toppin is no scrub. He can play, right? And everyone that was saying, he's a player that can only play in the half court or can't play in the half court, can only leak out, things like that. I think we're starting to see a player that's definitely worthy of the 8th overall pick. And it's amazing what happens when a player finally gets minutes, right? Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? And we're going to chop up that. We're going to chop up Emanuel Quickly's performance and his tear recently, the end of this season. Some positives ending this season with the New York Knicks young players. We won't leave out Jericho Sims as well. He's stepping up. And does that also mean that the fact that Mitchell Robinson now, might be somewhat more expendable with the emergence of Jericho Sims? And I like what he's showing us, right? Setting those great screens, getting up for the lobs, rolling to the cup. And of course, we're going to chop up, unfortunately, RJ Barrett's, injury tonight, but hopefully it's nothing serious. They're going to do the MRIs and everything and check that out. But RJ Barrett's been playing extremely well to end this season as well. He's obviously not going to play in the final game. So that is, RJ Barrett's 3rd season. That's a wrap for that. Not the best way to go out for this season, but hopefully it's just the knee sprain. By all reports, the Knicks universe held their breath, collective sigh of relief when the report came out. It was just a knee sprain. They're obviously going to do their clearance. They're going to check that it's just the knee sprain. But I feel like RJ Barrett is definitely made his mark on this team without Julius Randle, being out of the lineup. He's obviously growing each and every day. It's a hot topic throughout the summer of RJ Barrett's extension, and I think they're going to come to a number, we'll get into it, but I think they're going to come to a number that, pleases both sides as well. Doesn't have to be the full max, but they're definitely going to keep RJ Barrett in-house. He's a keeper, right? He's not going to be talked about. But Ovi Avengers stand up tonight, Drew. Popzilla, salute. The chat's already buzzing. Great performance tonight. And, it's not just tonight. Obi Toppin's been playing well, shooting well from 3. I don't know who's responsible for that. Obi putting in the hard work, maybe a shooting coach. But he always had the ability to stretch the floor, did young Obi. But tonight's on a whole nother level, right, as we pull up the box score. Obi Toppin shot 14 of 22. 6 of 9 from 3 as well. That's not just solid, that's lights out. Plus 18 and a career high, of course, 35 points from Obi Toppin. And like Bonson's been saying all along, Obi is a keeper. We got a real one in this kid, and he just needed the opportunity. Yeah, absolutely, fam. He definitely did just need that opportunity. And obviously he's been learning the hard way. It's never easy being stuck behind someone. When you're the 8th overall pick, it was a very, very unique situation the Knicks found themselves in. Obviously, making that key selection at the 8th spot, and then Julius Randle bursts out, like we know, the rest is history. Became an all-star last season. But credit to Obi, man, for just staying with it. staying ready. Heard his name dragged through the mud. Heard his name in trade talks. Heard that his value was nada. Said that he had no value. Things like that. And at the very, very least, Obi Toppin, if his future may not be with the New York Knicks, he's definitely increased his trade stock as well. The Knicks, you get healthy this offseason. Hope, for a fast recovery. Absolutely for RJ. Salute, Drew. The Warriors would love Obi on their team right now. Yeah, a lot of teams would definitely love Obi on their team right now. No lie. Illmatics, the threat of getting yanked at any mistake has been removed from Obi's game. Right. Great point there. Great take. It's amazing. They're all NBA players. When you make it this far, right? Some players, it's just confidence. It's opportunity, it's confidence, and not enough can be said about his teammates for getting around him. Keep through the dark days, staying with him. Emanuel Quickly, is his brother from another mother. Staying with it, always looking for him on the court. Derrick Rose as well. Shout outs to Derrick Rose, who's obviously maybe been mentoring Obi from the side. The moment D Rose got in, he took Quick and Obi out for dinner, right, and stayed in his ear all along, right. And P Nice says, while Obi's value is high, trade him to Utah for Spider. I think you raise a point where I think Obi's definitely still going to be in some trade talks, as his values might be going up. And if we do entertain a Spider Mitchell talk, then obviously they're going to want some young pieces as well. So that's going to be something to look out for. And Denick says, what Gobert said at an interview about Donovan is that fans and media are trying to split them both up. What if we get them both in a 3 to 4 team trade? It can be done. Right, that'd be massive. But there's going to be a heap of trade talk. We know this is shaping up to be a huge summer for this New York Knicks organization, for Leon Rose, for Worldwide West, Scott Perry, everybody involved. And of course, we'll chop up like we do the good, the bad, the ugly. Tom Thibodeau, talks stories out now that he's safe for next season. So give us your thoughts on Tom Thibodeau sticking around as well. I'll give you my thoughts on that situation. But like P&I says, it's going to be an crazy season, right? We're going to be rocking with it all throughout, right? We've got the draft coming up tonight, the Night Coop Summit still going down in Portland as well. I was catching some of that. There's some interesting prospects out there. But in speaking of prospects, the New York Knicks, I think the biggest glaring need, P-Nice, chat, everyone, is that the New York Knicks need to get themselves a center and a point guard. I think Mitchell Robinson's gone. I wouldn't be mad if Mitch stays, but I just can't see the New York Knicks keeping Mitch. I hope we don't lose him for nothing. But I feel like he's going to have so many suitors, so many options out there. Dallas, New Orleans, obviously home. The Detroit Pistons are going to be interested in Mitch as well. What are your thoughts, guys, on Mitchell Robinson in the future? Now that we're seeing a glimmer of Jericho Sims, I'll be honest, it's looking like Mitch, for as much as he's made a lot of improvement this season, if the New York Knicks don't want to pay that $15 million, I think Jericho Sims has shown himself to be a nice rotation piece, at the very least, right? At the very least. And May 4th says, yep, who cares? Mitch is a bum. Doesn't want to keep Mitch around, doesn't want to pay that money as well. A lot of fans on the same boat as well. I'm sort of in between. I wouldn't want to pay Mitch the full money. I think he's deserving of that contract, but I just feel like we need a center that can do some other things. Do some other things, and it's going to be interesting to see. This offseason, do the New York Knicks rekindle their interest in Miles Turner? Who can stretch the floor? Is our center a bit of a Mitchell? A small ball lineup with Obi Toppin now able to stretch the floor, right? Do you guys think this stretch from Obi is a fluke, or is this part of his game, right? He came into this league, a capable shooter, right? He had the form. I think he just needed to put in the reps, right? Just needed to put in the reps, and a Silver Surfer salute. The Knicks is fine. They got RJ. They just got to sign 3 more stars and clear that cap space. Well, nice take there, Silver. Building for the future around the building block, RJ Barrett. 3 more stars. the New York Knicks are struggling to find some stars. I feel like our best way is to build within, right? Build through the draft. Continue to nurture these kids. Tonight, Obi, Quickly, Sims, right? The future ain't as bleak as we say it is, right? But as the chat's been saying, the biggest leap is to get that star, to take that next step and to take that star, that step and try to get that next star in here to pair with RJ Barrett. And I know P Nice, yep, we need to bring in Miles. You're on the Miles Turner train as well. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like Leon Rose is definitely going to look in that direction, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Miles Turner, we know Indiana, Indy's going to blow that thing up, right? They got no use for Miles Turner at all. So to the highest bidder is going to win out on Miles Turner for that. And B says we need the center that can post up and stretch the floor as well. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, it's bittersweet because Mitch, he's a New York Knick. We drafted, we traded for that pick with the Carmelo Anthony deal. We nurtured, Mitch. We saw him grow. We saw him improve in areas of his game. Right, he's a ready-made starting center on this team right now, and other teams are interested. But look, to pay that money, considering what I pay RJ, I want to keep Cam Reddish around. We'll talk about that more. But I want to keep Cam around. He looked nice before he went down, and I feel like Mitchell Robinson's just it's a stopgap at the moment. It's a spot that we can fill. It's a spot we can fill with some players, and I feel like the biggest need is guard at the moment. Right, we need to save that money for wings and for guards. Right, and I salute Troy. This team is devoid of high-level talent. I'm not going to lie. That's why we're still in rebuilding mode. We're still in talent acquisition. Right, like you say, we need to find as much talent as we absolutely can, man. And we don't need to microwave this thing, right? We're a ways off. We're a ways off. Let's just keep building, make ourselves attractive from within with these young players. Emanuel Quickly was really wanted around the league at the trade deadline, right? The New York Knicks were getting the most phone calls about Emanuel Quickly, so he had value around the league. They, executives around the league see that IQ had some value. Obi Toppin's going to have value this summer as well now, given what he's showing, right? We don't know when that next big star is going to force their name out. Donovan Mitchell's looking close. There's a lot of talk. I think where there's smoke, there's definitely fire, but I don't know if it's going to be this offseason or not. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell is a big one to look out for. Zion, of course. What does it mean now if Obi Toppin's looking like this? Is a need for Zion redundant? You guys tell me. And like Allah says, salute Allah, the wise one. Scott Perry got Mitch. Absolutely, he did. Through those reputations around the league, he took a chance on Mitch. Right, the New York Knicks, they did well with this situation. They bought low. They might sell high. Hopefully, Mitch. He's grown with us. Credit to him as well. He's worked on some things. To me, his free throw shooting still not good enough. He had enough time to work on his free throws. I think Mitch should be better than what he is at the free throw line. Whether or not they don't let him shoot a J or not, I don't believe he's ready to shoot outside shots just yet. Maybe a little baby J, but in terms of Mitch, we know what it is. He's a rim runner. He's an elite shot blocker. He's a demon in the paint. One of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA as well, and he's going to earn himself a nice contract, right? Well deserved for Mitch. Let's see what happens with that situation, what the New York Knicks can conjure up with this sign and trade, right? Because that's going to put this front office on notice, right? If they lose Mitchell Robinson for nothing, the knives are going to be out. And Bonson says, yeah, Obi shot the tray well in college. You can't get in shooting. You can't get in shooting threes, shooting twice a game, playing 12 minutes. Yeah, you can't get in rhythm. Also played some guard at high school. Yep, great take, Bonson. Absolutely great take. Obi, he can stretch the floor, and I think he's going to continue to improve. Only his second season, right? Let that sink in. I know he's 24 years old, but he's only in his second season. So the sky's the limit for Obi. And, I'm not going to make no outlandish take right yet, but I will say this. I think Obi Toppin's a starting power forward now from what I'm seeing, right? There's no reason anywhere around the league on a team that's missing out on the playoffs. Obi Toppin is a is a worthy starting power forward. And I think it's been tough for him, being behind Randle. And May 4th, we're so desperate for a star, we lose focus on what's important. Yep, I agree. We've lost focus for 30 years because the New York Knicks MO is to make the playoffs only, to be relevant, keep that money rolling in. They haven't really shown that they're able to, or they want to build for long-term sustainable winning, winning chip after chip. And I think, they're just trying to stay relevant, with the Zion, the Donovan talks and things like that. Let's just do what you said, focus on what's within right now, building our players' value up. Whether these young cats stay as New York Knicks for the rest of their career or not, we don't know. But the worst thing we could do is to just, not allow them the chance to grow within, grow their trade value, continue to work on their game and continue to shine, right? Give them the reps, right? I feel like Cam Reddish would have been joining this party if he didn't go down as well. And we know that Tom Thibodeau wasn't really on board with the Cam Reddish move. So, there's going to be a lot more question marks than answers this offseason and even into next season, right? These question marks are going to continue, right? I don't see these things being answered straight away because Tom Thibodeau is going to stick around. Like we say, Tom Thibodeau's safe, right? So what does that really mean, right? He's going to push for vets this offseason. I won't be surprised if he wants to trade our pick. And of course, we'll get into the Tankathon standings in this show as well. We shout you out. We keep 100. Healthy Knicks talk. No topics out of bounds. And we'll get through the good, the bad, the ugly. And the Tankathon standings in New York Knicks now. Tonight was the Tank Bowl. We lost the Tank Bowl. So it's looking like we'll finish no better than the 11th overall selection. We've got one more game. What's interesting is it looks like Luka Doncic is suspended for the final game. And I feel like somebody plays Dallas in the final game. I think it's New Orleans. I think it's Washington or San Antonio play Dallas in that final game. So the New York Knicks could definitely still stay in 11th, maybe still get 10th. We'll get through it all as well. But the chat's popping. Troy says, y'all really think RJ is a 2? Dude is slow-footed offensively and defensively. We need to get a real 2 as well. Who do you like, Troy? I think, it's still early days. Let RJ continue to grow. I think he can still be that 2 for us. I really do. It's a different league now. He can use his size and his strength as an advantage. And he's never going to be a great shooter, I think, an elite shooter. But he's made enough improvement on that end, I think, to be that guy for us as well. But I feel like we need a nice wing next to him. Is that wing Cam Reddish? Is it another dude that we draft? Maybe Maturin in this draft as well. That remains to be seen. But RJ Barrett just needs ballers around him, right? He'll thrive. I think he just needs ballers. And Il says, unfortunately, Mitch has probably seen his last game in the orange and blue. Yeah, I agree, Il. I think you're right with that situation. Mitch, again, unfulfilled potential with the New York Knicks, but he's ready to get paid the bag, and he's been putting out subliminals for forever and a day as well. Obi's still not a starter for you, in your opinion, as well. Spark off the bench still, do you think? Do you think he's still got a future with the Knicks? Let us know. I feel like Obi is showing us enough, in my opinion, that he can start on a team. And I really want to see him get that chance. But, who knows what happens? The New York Knicks could go big game hunting like they always do. And Silver says RJ be having 19 at halftime and half games where we watch clearly a star. Yeah. So you're high on RJ. And B says reps the most important. Shame on Thibs for playing Big 15, for not playing the Big 15. Yep, absolutely. That's the ugly. B. That's not even bad. That's the ugly of the 2021-22 season for me. Tom Thibodeau mismanaging the situation. Right. I feel like Tom Thibodeau is at the top of the tree. It's the reason why we're not making the playoffs. Right. We have a roster that's worthy of the play-in. I think no doubt. Nobody can say we don't. And I think Tom Thibodeau has to look at himself in the mirror and he has to admit his folly to Leon Rose, right? Maybe he already has, which has allowed him a second lifeline with the Knicks. But Tom Thibodeau is messed up this season with mismanaging. He should have put Quentin Grimes in the rotation earlier. Should have given Obi some more minutes when Randle was floundering. And of course, Deuce McBride should have played a bit more as well. I think he could have helped us early on defensively as well. And of course, the Kemba Walker thing, the biggest failure, that lies at the feet of the front office for me. So when we talk about the ugly, it's definitely Leon Rose's fault for not securing the point guard situation, for handing out that money to Derrick Rose, Nerlens Noel, two injury-prone guys, and not getting us that insurance policy at the point as well. And we all know Kemba Walker's not going to come back, right? That was a failed mistake, a failed experiment, right? And I couldn't be happier to see, Kemba go to some other team, right? I'm sick of seeing his smiling face all the time. No disrespect, but he didn't really come in here, fully focused. I think, obviously his body is half of what it used to be, as well. And we put too much reliance on that. That's where Leon Rose effed up, absolutely. And B says, all right, let's be honest. Was RJ a starter when he came in as well? So, yeah, in terms of when he came in tonight, or do you think, early on this season, he's definitely shown himself to me. He's got flaws in his game. Like we all talk about people's flaws and, players, especially when you're in New York, and Randall's been floundering as well. I think RJ's carried enough of the burden, right, on a roster that's devoid of a lot of talent, right? That's the main thing. Like I said, if you put ballers around RJ, he's going to look so much different, right? Like he did against for Duke, basically as well. Yeah, I don't think RJ is a number one on a championship or a high level team as well. I think he's a number two as well. I think his ceiling is a number two, but that's no disrespect. I feel like he can definitely be a multiple time All Star. And Troy says, I like RJ at the 3. Okay, is what I'm saying. Yep, I get you. I hear you. Yep, I'm not against that either. I think RJ could play the 2 or the 3. Right, that's the best thing about RJ's strength is his size, ladies and gentlemen. You're talking about a guy who's 21 years old, hasn't fully matured body-wise, and I feel like he's definitely going to get stronger and stronger as well. And I salute Sherwin up in here. Salute. May, yep, Obi's a finesse player. Been that before and even got to the NBA. Can't make him what you want him to be as well. Finesse for May 4th. His swing skill is the shooting, fam. It's definitely the skill set. Buzzer beater, salute. We develop Mitch. We are let him go for nothing. I hope not. I hope not, fam. I hope not. Definitely, this is one of the situations where the New York Knicks actually done the right by the young player in terms of giving him a chance to grow. Maybe by default because we didn't have any other better center at the time, but Mitchell Robinson's developed under the New York Knicks, right? And that's the evidence in that is that other teams want him. Other teams are lining up to sign Mitchell Robinson. So then the New York Knicks and Mitchell Robinson both did well with this situation with development. Where we didn't do well is managing him in terms of the asset management. I felt like we could have definitely looked to trade Mitch at the deadline as well. Like P Nice is saying, you trade him out to Dallas. You bring back Brunson, at least you get something back, right? I know people might not like Jalen Brunson, but you can't lose Mitch for nothing. Johnny Davis, salute. The guys are having fun with each other, but the real test will be how our kids handle loss when they grow from that, and watch out. So, yep, I like that, Johnny. Nice take. The kids definitely, having fun out there. Right, that you could say what you want, but they love playing with each other, right? They love playing with each other and coming up from the summer league with Deuce, Grimes, Jericho, Obi, and Quickley, right? The Fab Five, I could call them, right? The Fab Five. You could throw in Cam Reddish in there as well. The 6-6 out there. I feel like that's a future of the New York Knicks. Going ahead to next season, if no big trades happen. Of course, a big trade happens and a big bomb hits, that's going to blow that whole thing up. Of course, I wouldn't put anything past the New York Knicks, but we have some assets now, and now let's manage them correctly. Let's let them develop. Let them improve their games in the summer again, and have hopefully a huge season next season as well. And Silver says people underrate RJ because he's on the Knicks. We're not used to having a rising star as well. Yep, people love to hate on the Knicks, no doubt, no doubt. I think RJ is definitely silencing some critics this season. Some of the talk that Tyler Hero and these other picks are way better than him. I see people giving us flack for drafting him ahead of Darius Garland and things like that. Which is, obviously you could see Darius Garland's a great player now. But at the time, I think it was a tough decision to make. RJ Barrett was consensus as well. And Darius Garland only played, I think, 7 college games as well. So that remains to be seen. But RJ Barrett's here for the future, right? I don't see him moving anywhere. And a P. Nice never liked the Thibodeau signing, and it was all politics. Yep, another one that you hit there with the ugly. That's been the ugly for this season as well. For me, Tom Thibodeau was the wrong signing at the wrong time. We had a roster that was nowhere near competing, and I feel like Kenny Atkinson, Mike Miller even would have been a better situation for the New York Knicks, right? Because Tom Thibodeau, again, let's talk about tonight. He started Alec Burks again, right, with 2 games left. 2 games left, and you're starting Alec Burks still, right? We know what he can do. He had it, he went all out against Brooklyn. Came up short in the 4th, trying to do the post up move, isolation. Right? I know Quickley had a great game, but you should have started Emanuel Quickly tonight, right? So I'm not sold on Thibs as well. I think his days are numbered. You're hired to be fired. I think he might be safe for another year as well. But Tom Thibodeau won't be around for our next championship, right? He won't be around. Yep. And true story. What I'm saying is that if he developed that outside shot at a consistent basis and he can play the 3 to 5 positions, bro, you would become intangible. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. With that situation, right? How often have we spoke about young players that are thriving up in this piece, right? In the cauldron of the NBA, the New York Knicks, it's the toughest place to play in, right? One thing I could say about our players and a lot of the young players, they're tough. They're tough mentally. So salute to them as well for everything they're going through. As a team, we shoot like 40% from the floor. That's terrible. And terrible free throws all season. Lost us more games than Thibs. Just being real, but somebody got to take the blame, right? Yeah, definitely. There's always going to be scapegoats, like you said. And you hit the money there, Allah, with the free throws. That's been a weakness all season. Weakness of ours, and we need to rectify that ASAP. Right? Mitchell Robinson's been a culprit of that, and RJ Barrett's been a culprit. Randall's been a culprit. Everyone really. Our best shooter from the free throw lines, Emanuel Quickly. The like. So again, the New York Knicks did well. I think with the Emanuel Quickly pick 25 overall. He might not be that point guard of the future for us, but he's a piece. He can come off the bench or he could start in the spot. He's getting better. He's improving his court vision. I'm liking what I'm seeing from IQ's court vision. That's the good. One of the goods, for this season. Emanuel Quickly is definitely, shown some improvement, and even more so towards the end of this season. And the Knicks Cam is a small forward, but an athletic forward. We can go for is Kuminga from Golden State as well. Yeah, we definitely need to stock up. I feel like Cam, hopefully Tom Thibodeau will play him next season, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Tom pushes for a veteran upgrade as well. And ladies and gentlemen, super chat from one other than Johnny Davis. CT, you're doing a good job. Go Knicks. Appreciate you, Johnny, as always. Appreciate your knowledge, your takes as well. And the New York Knicks fam, the community's here strong. Let's get it. Jarvis says, you're not the only one, fam. More of us been saying the same thing, fam, but I do agree with you as well. I think in reference to to being patient and building from within. And about Mitch, Drew says IQ honestly looking like Maxi 2.0 right now. Yeah, great take, Drew. A lot of people comparing the two, they'll always be compared. That's a fact, right? Maxi, IQ. The truth is their games are different. If you ask me, their games are different. But I feel like IQ has just as much of a ceiling as Maxi, right? I think Maxi's floor was higher was higher at this current point when he got drafted. But I think Emanuel Quickly still has as high of a ceiling as Maxi as well. But both ballers, I think, like I said, the Knicks did well out of that 25 pick, right? We have a player finally that's young, that's ascending, that a player that other teams are calling us about as well. I'm not saying his ceiling's no superstar or all-star, but hey, I'll take what I can get right now from this New York Knicks organization, right? We've not been building and drafting well for decades. P. Nice, salute. 4 years, 60 for Brunson off the bench as well. So, yeah, that name, look out for that. That's going to continue to come. What is everyone's thoughts on Jalen Brunson as well? With Emanuel Quickly giving us what he's given us, do the New York Knicks continue to go that route, or do they look elsewhere? And Sherwin says RJ is a bully. He is best when he plays smaller players. Yep, post up moves, post up down low. RJ, his ceiling is in terms of a Jimmy Butler, I feel that kind of player as well. He can influence games with intangibles. He's not the best shot creation as well, but I feel like he's going to be a great player in crunch situations. I feel like he's learning. I know he's not been great in crunch situations, but I feel like RJ Barrett is going to be that player that we can rely on, as a number 2 option. I really do. I feel like he can keep growing. And Silver, I'd rather draft Dyson Daniels than pay Brunson 4 years. Well, that's a good take as well. Dyson Daniels has got all the intangibles, fam, to defend, can play make. He's a tall guard, 6'7" right now without shoes. Let that sink in, right? I'd love me in the Knicks to get me a player that size, right? Dyson Daniels can guard the 1 to 3 spots. Let that sink in as well. Would be even stronger defensively, right? And P. Nice, Thibodeau is a nut. Yep, absolutely. Thibodeau's the ugly right now, fam. Straight facts with that. I feel like, we could beat a dead horse over and over, but like I've been saying, I just feel like he's not got the pulse. He's not got the pulse on the fan base. He's not got the pulse on the team or the city. He's the right coach for the wrong situation right now. So he needs to go to another team. I feel like that's a better roster, to contend, right? So he can play his vets, but he's not about developing. He's not about, conducive for this team growing organically, basically. And let me get down to this super chat. P. Nice, appreciate you, fam. Thanks for the quality Knicks content, CT. Our team's future is bright. Yep, absolutely it is, sir. Facts, right? Appreciate you, P. Nice. Been rocking us with us since day one. Always got the chat and the streets buzzing as well. Rain, hail, or shine, up in here strong, giving us your takes as well. And I appreciate you, fam, for that as well. Continue to get into it. Speak your mind, speak your piece. And like I agree, the future is bright, right? We are, there's some ugly, of course. There always is with every organization, right? But we just need to weed that ugly out. And I feel like, the time's ticking on some of these coaches and execs, with this organization, right? It's going to be interesting next year because who has the maximum influence? RJ Barrett. Is he going to finally start to speak his mind as to, like KP was when he was in his 3rd, 4th year? Players start to speak up. They start to say what they like, what they don't like. And will the organization listen? That's going to be interesting to see, right? How much say does Tom Thibodeau have in acquisitions as well? That's going to be insane. Bonson with the question, do you think Thibs' relationship with Mitch has him looking for him to get out of Dodge? Yep, I think so. Bonson. That's the writing on the wall. You hit it with that, right? He's looking to get out of Dodge. I think he is. One, he wants to get paid the most, and he wants a situation where he can showcase himself a bit more. And whilst I don't fully believe Mitch in terms of the team not letting him do stuff, I feel like it's a bit of both. I feel like the team is restricting him a bit, but also he's not quite, ready to, to be putting up J's and things like that. And I feel like, we saw with Charlotte's peaking right now. Mitchell Robinson will look real nice with them, I feel like. Sherwin's not a fan of IQ, but I'll take him over Brunson. Brunson plays Kemba type of D. Great take, Sherwin. It's good to see your whilst you're not the biggest fan of IQ, you still take him. You still accept some of his qualities, and Brunson as well. It's got me worried. I'm not going to lie too. Brunson is undersized. He certainly is. I'm not going to lie with that. And Bonson with the $5 super chat, fam. Salute Bonson. Got things buzzing. Appreciate you. Let's get it. And give us your thoughts on the point guard situation. We're on that topic right now, right? Well, whilst we're on the good, Emanuel Quickly shown that he can be a player that could be a nice starting piece or a backup at least, right? Let's see what comes of that. Do the New York Knicks need to pay a guy like Brunson $20 million, right? If we're not going to deem Mitchell Robinson worthy of $15 million, do you guys feel like Jalen Brunson deserves $20 million on this team, right? Bearing in mind the fact that we have to pay RJ, we have to pay Cam soon. Julius's contract's still with us as well. So, money doesn't grow on trees, like they say, right? We need to be smart with this situation, right? I only want to pay difference makers, right? Players can be nice. They could be ballers one night, going missing the next night. But I only want to pay bona fide difference makers right now, or I'd rather just save the money, right? I'd rather just save our money. And P nice fire Perry as well. Perry, not the loudest voice in the front office, absolutely. I think his days are numbered too, right? He's going to find himself another home, I feel like, because let's be honest, Worldwide West or Brock Aller are the de facto GMs. I'm just call it like I see it. We've seen the reports out here. And Nick's coming. I see it. Silver Surfer putting that on notice as well. At least the New York Knicks have a future where we have some young pieces with an untapped ceiling, untapped potential. We don't know what they're going to be, right? That's exciting in itself as well. And a Tarek salute. I'm just glad the front office doesn't listen fan noise. Everyone would be traded, and then it's back to the General Mills era as well. So appreciate it, Tarek. I agree in terms of the front office do need to just do what they need to do. Obviously, there's so many fans with so many different opinions. My issue is the front office are too divided, right? There's too many chefs in the kitchen. They're arguing with each other, basically, right? You got Thibs. Thibs's philosophy is clashing with Brock Aller's philosophy. You got Worldwide West with his own agenda as well. And then you got Leon that has to sit there and listen to all of them and make his decisions, right? And we all know Leon Rose ain't an experienced basketball head. He's not a executive. He's an agent, right? So a lot of the things they've lucked into, a lot of the things they've listened to Brock Aller, and they've made some nice trades. I think Brock Aller's been central to trading back in the draft, picking up some extra picks, some extra assets. Leon Rose obviously did select Obi Toppin, so he needs some credit for that. But obviously, an Obi Toppin situation hasn't panned out yet. It might, but it hasn't panned out yet. And I will touch on some draft as well. Appreciate that, Drew. Ty Washington is like 6'3", I think so. He's the exact same height as IQ as well. The draft's coming up thick and fast around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks, will do the Tankathon look later this show, but the New York Knicks need to pick up a point guard, a wing, or a center. I feel like, right? I think power forward. I'm good with power forward. I'll be honest with you. I know Tari Eason's out there. I know there's other nice prospects, but I feel like we need to look at center and we need to look at guards and wings as well, right? With shot creation. And the Knicks no to Brunson as well. So yep, a lot of fans are divided on Brunson. Don't put me in the G-Man in the same breath. May 4th, going back and forth. And P Nice, yep, Brunson is Leon's godson. His dad Rick might be coaching with us. Yep, absolutely. Rick Brunson. Expect to see him here, I think, with Tom Thibodeau here as well. And not a lot's been said, P Nice as well, about Dallas picking up Dinwiddie. Dallas is absolute straight balling right now. They're in the top 3. I think they're in the top 3 in the West, right? So is Jalen Brunson expendable for them? He looks like he is right now, and Brunson is Lionel Richie dancing on the ceiling. Oh God, a nice one, B. And Silver says Brunson, 4 years, nah. His value gonna drop. So a lot of people divided on Brunson right now. I would have signed up for that halfway through this season, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Deuce, from Quickley as well, right? And considering we're in development mode, we ain't got to microwave the thing so soon, right? Let's just see what we have maybe in some of our guys, right? I don't think that would be a bad move at all. We got Rokas, we could still get a look at him. We got Deuce, he just needs more reps, and we could see what he could do. We got Quickley now. Brunson, it's going to be interesting to see whether Leon can't resist, right? He can't resist his friends, his family. He paid Thibs, the Brunson thing, the agent, the family ties, all of that. That's going to come back to play a huge part in that situation, right? And of course, we know Worldwide West with Kentucky, right? He's the first to push any Kentucky prospect, right? So Ty is slated to be around where the Knicks are going to pick, around the 11th or 12th spot. So look out for Worldwide West's influence as well. Let's keep things buzzing. Silver, Mitch is dirt. He can't win with Jazz, their championship team. So that's Donovan. I'm not the biggest fan as well. And they're stacked and they still can't win. The New York Knicks are forever going to name chase. I feel like absolutely they are. We need stars. James Dolan wants to sell tickets. Whether it's Zion, whether it's Donovan, bet your bottom dollar that these guys are going to go after them. I think that's just how the story goes here in New York. I feel like we can't. We would like to, but I don't think they can build like a small market team, right? It's just been that way since James Dolan's been here. And Buzzer says Brunson is too expensive for what we get. As well, for what we get, that's a good point as well. So he can ball, but he might be too expensive for what we get. I must admit I haven't watched Dallas too much, but Jalen Brunson is crafty. He's a floor general. He can get guys involved, but the concerns are defensively. He can get exposed. 6 feet. And salute Ephraim. Salute. I really like Brunson because he's young and a true point guard. Something RJ hasn't had in his time here with the Knicks. So you're for Brunson as well. Definitely a lot of fans like his game. He's an upgrade. I feel like he's an upgrade. And I know salaries are going up around the league as well. I'm torn. I'm torn on Brunson right now. If I'm being honest with you, I feel like I'm leaning more towards just building with what we have right now and not making that move right yet, and just waiting it out. Just waiting it out. Tarek, get me that 6'6" combo guard from Arizona, Benedict Maturin. Yep, absolutely. I'm high on him as well, fam. Benedict can ball. He's got great size, 6'7". I think he's 6'7" now, Tarek. And I think that he's going to go around the 8th, 7, 8, 9, 10 spot as well. Can the New York Knicks get in that range? Let's see. It's going to be really interesting. And Drew, honestly, I think Knicks fans overrate Brunson. He's good, but he's not that good. I wouldn't say he's worth the 20 mil. Yep. So you're on that train as well as in terms of not worth the money. P Nice has a point. Brunson taking the family discount. He could be cheap. Fred VanVleet off the bench as well. Yeah, that's another situation. Maybe we can get him for 17, 18 mil. Who knows? In a sign and trade. Who knows? I tell you what, though, the New York Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks have had a history of making trades with each other. Obviously they're the Dallas Mavericks right now with Tim, with they had KP, obviously. I wouldn't put it past the two teams to get a deal done, right? With maybe Mitchell Robinson, who trains in Dallas in the offseason as well. And salute Wayne, salute Farron Hunt can be a serviceable player if we give him a shot in a couple of seasons. Yeah, I like that point. Good take, Wayne. You know, drawing light on the Ferren Hunt situation. I was mad tonight because, like I said, the ugly again. You know, second to last game of the season, and we're up 20, up 25. Tom Thibodeau brings in Ferren Hunt with 1 minute 50 seconds to go. I mean, you know, that's another situation without a person with the pulse, finger on the pulse in this situation, right? Win or lose, you should have been playing Ferren Hunt, in the third quarter at least, right? We're in evaluation mode right now. We're mathematically eliminated. Tom Thibodeau was worried about his coaching record tonight. That's all it was, right? He was coaching to win the game, and that's what people say about Thibs. That's his knock, and that's forever, never going to change, right? He's coaching for his record, and that's it. That's all he cared about. He doesn't care about development. Doesn't care about giving players minutes unless he thinks they're ready. I think it's the opposite. I think a player, whether they're ready or not, the minutes can help them get ready, right? So even if they're not ready to play in a meaningless game, they should be playing in anyway, because those minutes are going to help them be ready next season, right? It's like giving, it's a person who can never get a job without experience. Well, they can't get experience until they get given a chance to get a job as well. So, it's maddening to me. I feel like, Alec Burks again shouldn't have been playing point guard tonight. Let Emanuel Quickly handle the rock from the very start. Let Deuce McBride handle the rock as well. Let Ferren Hunt see what he can be. Right, we're in a situation we're about to pay. We're about to pay Cam Reddish. Right, let's see if Ferren Hunt can do something. He's a two-way guy. We just brought him in. We just signed him, and he plays a minute 50 seconds. Right, you can't make this stuff up. And Efrain says people act like 20 mil is max. Quickley is fine, but how about give our most important player RJ an actual point guard and not someone still learning how to play the role? So some good points there. 20 mil, certainly not max money. Quickly's good. He's improving. You want to see us, give RJ another point guard. Give him another point guard as well, someone who's more ready. And you guys are keeping things buzzing, man. I must admit, man, we up here strong. Appreciate it. Knicks buzz. Give that like button a hit, and we keep things rolling. And Tarek says we have too many short guards. Enough already. The Arizona guard is 6'6", or keep it moving. So we need size. What do you think of Cam Reddish, fam? Is Cam Reddish a keeper? I think he is, to be honest with you. I think the front office likes Cam Reddish. That's why they swung that deal. Absolutely. And that's one thing that I am hopeful for, that Leon Rose can be a man of his own and make moves that Tom Thibodeau doesn't necessarily sign off on, because Tom Thibodeau didn't want the move for Cam Reddish. He may not hate Cam Reddish, the player or whatever, but he said, look, Leon, I've got too many guys to play, but Leon went out and did the move anyway. So that tells me hopefully Leon Rose doesn't listen to just anyone. He makes the moves that he wants to make, right? Cam Reddish is a talent. He can do things on the floor that other Knicks cannot. We've seen it in flashes. We've seen it in his ability to get to the cup, his dribble. His dribble's strong, it's tight, he's athletic as well. He could be that wing that we haven't had in a little bit. And of course, he's familiar with RJ Barrett. That's very important, those two playing together. And the Knicks wants D. Mitchell with RJ and Brunson as well. And Buzzer Beater, I recently found this channel, but I'm glad I found it. We're glad you found it too, fam. Let's keep things rolling. Nice name, by the way. And like Be Civilized says, this is a tweet in a nutshell. This is a comment. Build our own grain. Yeah, absolutely right. Build our own identity, right? What gets me sick is people talk about the Miami Heat culture, Dallas Mavericks culture, all that San Antonio culture, right? Let's build something of our own, right? The New York Knicks, gritty committee, right? Just no nonsense, right? We ain't here just trying to attract names. We're here trying to build substance, right? For sustainable winning, right? We should be a team that's central to competing for a championship each and every season, because we are such a big market, right? With the best fan base, a stage, an arena that everyone wants to play in. That's right. So, that we've got ways to go, but we're taking steps. We're taking steps with these young players on our roster, and I'm so excited seeing them get opportunity tonight. Right. I only wish this had happened 15 games ago. Right. Imagine if we had 15 more games of seeing Obi Toppin run amok for 35 minutes, and 15 more games of Emanuel Quickly running the point as well. So, too little, too late this season as well. This front office is on notice. It's going to be a hot off season, right? And we're going to be here every step of the way. And like P&I says, definitely look out for the Julius talk to go home to Dallas as well. I feel like Julius is it's all mental, like we've spoken about. Julius Randle's in a situation where even the best of players can't handle a market like the New York Knicks if you're not mentally strong enough. And I feel like he's wilting right now. Tarek says give up some of those for draft capital. To give up some of those draft capital to move up to get Benedict, another Canadian as well, instead of gutting the team as well. Great point with that as well. I think the New York Knicks will try and move up, Tarek. They have tried to in years past to get Chris Duarte, to get Trey Mann and things like that. And I think if Benny works out for the Knicks, they might fall in love as well with that. Another Canadian as well, like you said, on point. And Dara, salute up in here. Let's get it. And P nice. Yep, Thibs is the worst situation for where we're at. And I honestly feel like Thibs would be good for a roster like the Brooklyn Nets. Funny enough, a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, a team that's ready made and ready to do it. Right. I feel like he's just in the wrong situation. And May 4th, yep, not big on the Obi situation as well. Thibs only cares about developing vets and not the youth. Yeah, absolutely. And look, I've been told, by guests and things on the show that Tom Thibodeau, he doesn't like the whole process of it. Yes, we all like the end result, but who wants to, who can get the end result without going through the process? You have to stick with it. Like Tom Thibodeau, like you said, he's 64 years old. He doesn't want to hang around while these players develop, right? He wants them at their finished product, already. And Allah says, Nasi T, we know Hunt won't be here in the future. He coaching his future guys. Yeah. And Silver says, D Mitchell is dirt. RJ more clutch already than him. You can't teach that. Well, so big ups for RJ. You're high on him. Silver as well. Donovan Mitchell, the trade scares me, to be honest. It's going to come at a hefty price, right? It's going to be like last man standing. Who's going to be still on the roster if we have to trade for Donovan, right? And that's what gets me sick. What gets me sick is that we constantly want to find guys that are on other teams and hope we can trade for them, right? And we all know how that story ends. We've tried that with Carmelo Anthony. Let's just focus on free agency. Whoever wants to be a New York Knick, put their hand up to be a New York Knick, or let's draft a New York Knick, and develop them into being a best New York Knick as well. So these trades, they scare me for the point where we don't have a whole heap of assets anyway to gut the whole roster. We have a lot of draft capital, but at the same time, I like that draft capital. That's what keeps us relevant. It's what keeps us sexy, for the future, having this draft capital. Because every team wants draft capital, right? It's like cash, it'll never go out of style, basically. Players' value can go up and down, but draft capital and cash never goes out of style because it's always valuable. And let's see who puts their hand up to be a New York Knick. And if it happens, see what kind of trade this front office can conjure up, right? Because I keep saying there's too many cooks in this kitchen. You got Scott Perry, you got Leon, Wes, Brock Aller. You got Gerson Rosas now, who's front and center on all things. Been seeing him around the court side, the practice, the shoot arounds. Gerson Rosas is here as well. one of the moves that Dolan signed off on, to keep this front office afloat, keep them accountable, and add some experience as well, because none of them got no experience at all. And Tarek says, I like Farron Hunt better than Cam Reddish. Availability is a premium. Yeah, good point with that. Availability. Farron Hunt, I must admit, I haven't watched him enough. I'm really going to watch some tape on that situation. He's athletic, that's for sure. And we know Knicks sign players when they really, really like. They were high on Luka, but he didn't work out because of availability, like you said. And P Nice hit that like button. He says to everyone in the Streets family, appreciate that. Let's keep things rolling. You guys are the best chat in the business, no doubt about it. And wise, knowledgeable takes. And like we say, no topic out of bounds. It's going to be a huge off season for this club. But the way we're finishing the season has been definitely a good. The bad has been this season in general. The record, the dysfunction, the folly by Thibs, the front office as well. The Kemba situation was bad. That was probably the worst of it. Evan Fournier's rectified that signing. He's worked his way into being somewhat of a valuable player. I think as 1 or 2 more years goes by, Evan Fournier will be tradable. For all that's said about the money, for his play earlier this season, Evan Fournier can play better. He can shoot. His contract isn't the worst. It's not great either. It's not a great contract, but it's not the worst. And I think like in 1 more year, his deal will be much more tradable, right? So let's keep things buzzing. Like May 4th says, Knicks need to stop these leaks, kill that, and fire anybody involved with these leaks. Yeah, that's a tough situation, right? Leaks cause dysfunction in the locker room, in the organization. But I feel like May, unfortunately, it's always going to be around. I think it's always going to stick around because, while there's so many people, there's agendas, fam. There's agendas. Like Worldwide West has his agenda. He doesn't want to go down knowing on a sinking ship, knowing that he's responsible for some of that. Yeah, he wants to place some blame on Tom Thibodeau. Then Tom Thibodeau's got his close relationships with all the New York Knicks writers and all of his time in this league, in this game as well. And I feel like, it's a situation that needs to stop, but I don't know if it will. And the Knicks, Zach LaVine is a free agent and the Bulls want to keep him. So I say go after Lonzo and bring in Zion, who played with him, and RJ and Cam would be amazing. Lonzo Ball, I think that's a boat that sailed, but definitely the New York Knicks had a chance to get Lonzo. Lonzo was interested in New York. I think, like I said, the front office didn't all agree from all the reports on the Lonzo Ball situation, but I feel like he'd be a nice piece to have. The New York Knicks do need a playmaker, a tall guard as well. I think Emanuel Quickly is doing an admirable job at the moment, but I just don't know if he's that starting point guard on a winning team for us for the future. I need to see more. I think Emanuel has a chance to be it. I'm not gonna say he's not ever gonna get to that, but I feel like I need to see more. And but I do want to see this. P Nice says trade D Rose to the Chicago Bulls as well. That's a fairy tale ending right there. Let's get that. Let's make that happen. Let's make that happen for D Rose and for us. Maybe we can get back somebody of a Ao Dosunmu or someone like a Alex Caruso or something. But I'd love to see D Rose finish out on another team and finish as a trying to get a chip and trying to win. And Nick Yak salute. Quickly can shoot 50%. I think he has it in him. I think he does. I feel like he needs to work on his shot selection, which is the biggest thing he's improved with. I feel like with Quickley, when he was that bench point guard coming in, it was purely spark plug. It was purely get shots up, get the scoreboard ticking up. And I feel like now Emanuel Quickly can play with a bit more composure. He's looking for guys. He's getting penetration. He's not always looking for the fouls and the floaters as well. And I think, it's been great to see IQ show some more maturity. On the court, he's getting stronger physically. You see the muscle on him today, and it's definitely going to be interesting for summer league. I feel like Emanuel Quickly's definitely got that point spot for summer league. If he plays summer league again with Deuce, with Rokes coming back again, it's going to be insane. And the Knicks, hey, I would trade heaven and earth for Donovan Mitchell, right? A talent the New York Knicks haven't had probably since Carmelo Anthony as well. And my honest thoughts on the Donovan Mitchell thing, I think there's genuine legs to it. I'm not just saying this. I feel like, he's from New York. He comes here in the off season. He spends his entire off season here. You hear reporters talk about it. He always comes back. Utah, we know the situation in Utah. It's not the best place to live. It's getting a bit more dysfunction right now. It may not happen this off season, but I feel like reports from Tim McMahon, I'd definitely be betting against Donovan staying in Utah his whole career. I don't see him staying there. And like Alan Hahn reported as well the other day, he thinks that the Miami Heat shouldn't be left out of the equation, right? Pat Riley always wants an opportunity to stick it to the New York Knicks, so look out for that. But I think there's genuine legs to Donovan Mitchell wanting out right now. And Silver says, lies clear up the cap. I bet Knicks can get whoever they want with RJ. And Ephraim says, why wouldn't he shoot 58% under Thibs? And Buzzer says, the pay rate scares me. If we trade Randle for Brunson, then okay. Yep, that's a good point. I'd be willing to sacrifice a salary for a player that may not have a future with the Knicks for Brunson so that it's a softer blow. Like you said, Buzzer. You trade Randle and then you just basically similar salaries. You pay Brunson Randle's salary as well. And you already got Obi on a rookie contract still for another 2-3 more years of a cheaper Obi that can play Randle's spot. And then you give Randle's salary to Brunson. And Tarek says, I've been watching the G League. Hunt can shoot the three well. Don't sleep. Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that knowledge because, like I said, I got to watch some tape on Hunt, and which made me even more angry today. Like I said, a minute 50 to go, we're up about 30, and he took that opportunity to put Hunt in right then. I'm like, man, play him in the third quarter, in the second quarter, right? He had Taj Gibson out there tonight, ladies and gentlemen. One of the main reasons we won because we were playing veterans, again, still. So, like I said, Tom Thibodeau, he's a bit out of touch for me. I'll use those words. He's out of touch with his agenda is a personal agenda. It's not an agenda that's best for the team's future. It's an agenda that's best for his future. Basically, anytime you got a player or a coach or an executive putting their future ahead of the team's future, then you got a problem, I think. And 19, salute. I think we take with our picks a small forward, Tari Eason, and a center, Oscar. Tari Eason got huge upside, fam. Huge upside. I feel like he could play the small forward, but he's mostly a power forward as well. So he's going to be within that range. Absolutely. And to be honest, if Noel and Rose was healthy for at least 85% of the season, we would probably be talking a different conversation, playoffs. Regardless of what Noel held us down last year when Mitch was out, it reversed. Yeah, great point again, as always, B. I feel like the same, if health played a huge part this season. To be honest, Nerlens Noel, it was some folly banking on Noel being healthy. Last season was an anomaly. And I feel like D Rose as well was only a matter of time with the minutes. D Rose was playing as well. And I appreciate everyone's thoughts out there. Let's keep things buzzing. Silver says Sochin got good D as well. Yeah, another prospect that's around the 10 to 15 as well, right? So with that said, we've got some draft coverage coming up next week as well. So keep an eye out for that. Now with the season winding up, all eyes, all focused towards the free agency, the off season, and the draft coming up as well. So keep giving us your thoughts on that. And Fournier has 2 more years left. Yep, before he's a free agent. Yep, but I feel like after 1 more year, fam, his deal will be a lot more yeah, enticing for some teams. For the shooting Fournier can give you, plus an expiring deal as well. So keep an eye out for that. And I think Evan's a decent guy. He's a decent guy for the locker room. He's not gonna ruffle no feathers. I think he tells it like it is. He's entertaining. Um, Evan Fournier's biggest weakness is his D, but I feel like we've shown that we can hide it. We can make up for that. We can make up for some of that with his shooting. Tonight he shot the lights out again. Did Evan? So salute to him. And Buzzer says leaks happen because of dysfunction, not the other way around. As well, yeah, good point. Good point with that. And Sherwin, I predicted 36 wins because we didn't have the backcourt that is required to be a good team. Yep, salute to you, Sherwin, as well. Always giving us your takes, and you were certainly on the money. You predicted around 30 to 35 wins, I believe it was. We were all laughing at the Knicks getting the 41 win prediction, but you were there, you saw it. I must admit, I thought Kemba Walker was not as washed as he was, and I think a lot of fans, were wrong in that situation too. I think it starts and ends with Kemba Walker, the point of attack, point of defense. We get half of what Kemba Walker's known for, and I feel like we're a play-in team or we're a playoff team, and that's where it went wrong this season. I feel like we just didn't have another guy that could step in straight away when the bleeding was happening with that situation. And also, Evan Fournier wasn't playing the best at that point either. And May 4th says all the leaks that came out at the trade deadline. Yep. The thing is, there's so many media and writers that are fishing for dirt. They're fishing for things. They're fishing for stories as well. They'll find it. They'll speak to someone's cousin that knows a brother, that knows an uncle, that knows a mother. And if there's dirt out there, they'll find it as well. So I think, like I said, the leaks are always going to continue. And the Knicks, my perfect lineup is Ball, Mitchell, Fournier, Obi, Christian, Wood, with the bench IQ, McBride, Grimes, and Olenek with some shooting as well. Yep. Yeah, interesting. That's a big overhaul, fam. Lonzo, D. Mitchell, Fournier, Obi, obviously Randle's off the team. So appreciate that lineup you've given us there. That would definitely be healthier in the East for sure. And May 4th, yep, that's a good point as well. We didn't have a single leak last year in terms of things going on. There was that piece written by Yaron Weitzman on how the front office operates as well. But I think that was a combination of time covering the team. And it's going to be interesting. The playoffs, Chicago losing the first round as well. So it's going to be really interesting. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to struggle, right? Let that be on record. I think the Brooklyn Nets will struggle. I don't think they're tough enough, me personally. So, the leaks can cause confusion. Absolutely. And Sean says Lonzo and DeRozan did want to come to New York. Yep, I heard the same thing as well. I think two guys that were high on the Knicks, but they couldn't come to consensus on those two guys. I think Scott Perry wanted DeRozan. Scott Perry wanted Lonzo. I feel like Leon Rose, Brock Aller pushed against it. Certainly, Brock Aller didn't feel like DeRozan, was a piece for the future, because of his age, things like that, right? They wanted to go in a more flexible route. But truth be told, like I said, the Kemba Walker thing is where it completely unraveled, right? You could talk about the other signings, whether, Noel, Rose, or Fournier were worth that kind of money, and Burks as well. But at the end of the day, the New York Knicks waited to the last minute, the 11th hour, to secure a point guard. And that point guard was a buyout candidate at the end of the day. Even if it was Kemba Walker's name, a 4-time All-Star, it was a buyout candidate. At the end of the day, the New York Knicks needed to do better than that, right? They needed to do better than that. And they didn't learn from what other teams were telling them. Boston Celtics waived, Boston Celtics gave away a first-round asset to get out of Kemba Walker. And Sam Hinkie bought him out as well. So I think the New York Knicks were living under a rock with that. And DeRozan, Thibs keep burning the food and slow cooking the youth. Yep, Thibs keep burning the food, slow cooking the youth. For D-Ras, salute. Nick Yak, look at these 4 years, always played good behind Luka and Hardaway. Was his problem getting time? Played great filling in for Doncic injuries. Got playing time this year with Hardaway injury. And Drew says streets are buzzing. Only one way to find out if IQ is that guy, and to just start him for a few games and see what he does. Yep. Exactly, right. Common sense, Drew. Facts. I love this take because, like I said, people were saying, oh, look, Thibs didn't feel like these players were ready, right? He's going to play guys that were ready. For me, we're so ways off winning a championship that you let the players play to become ready at the same time. Not every player in the NBA is ready for minutes, but at the same time, they can become ready if you play them more as well, right? Everyone's going to be a bit unsettled, nervous, needing to get into a rhythm, etc., etc. And I feel like it just takes time. And that's what Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to give up. It's a sacrifice to give up time, right? We put a food in a microwave because we want that food to heat up as fast as possible so that we can eat the food, right? And Tom Thibodeau wants to get to the end stage as quick as he possibly can without the whole process involved, right? I've been told by various people that Tom Thibodeau hates the whole process of draft workouts, attending the combines, all of those things. He just hates that kind of process, right? He'd rather be in the playoffs than thinking about the next season, right? And that's our biggest weakness. It's not conducive to this team getting to the next level. I feel like he was pushing for Marcus Morris, Gordon Hayward, some of these other vets as well that he wanted the New York Knicks to sign, right? That would have just made us a playoff team, but more marginal, I feel like. And P. Nice, bring back a wing and a center from Chicago for D Rose. Yeah, that's smart building, right? Smart asset management, fam. Absolutely right. We got an asset sitting under our tree with D Rose right now. Let's get out of that and send him somewhere where he can compete. And let's get some pieces, man. I'm all about getting some assets up in here. Let's just keep building a war chest like Sam Hinkie. So, I mean, Sam Presti, or rather. And the Knicks says D. Mitchell way better than Melo as well. I think Melo in his prime definitely was as good or maybe better than Mitchell, to be honest with you. Melo in his prime. But D. Mitchell certainly right now would be one of the best players we could get our hands on, I feel. And like I said earlier in the show, I feel like a lot's said about RJ Barrett, but let's evaluate RJ Barrett when he has quality ballers around him as well. Let's not undermine the fact that RJ Barrett's carrying a lot of the load right now, man. He's asked to do a lot as a 21-year-old, right? As well. We saw what he looked like in Duke next to Zion as well, right? Let's put him next to a player that's even better than Randle, and I think he'll look like a stud even more. And I may thought Thibs had Nate Robb running his system. You get carried away with what someone else told y'all as well. I appreciate that. Nick Yak, Mitchell is really a two guard. Great player. We need a point guard as well. Look, point guards are few and far between now at the moment, fam. In terms of the league, the NBA now, it's very different. You got a lot of. I don't believe Darius Garland is a true floor general point guard either, right? He's carrying the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think a point guard now in this day and age has to be a scoring threat. Whereas in the past, you could get away without that. You could get away with the Rajon Rondos and the things like that. Players that weren't really a big threat to score. But now it's a different league. It's a different league. You need a player that can probably score first and be a decent playmaker as well, because it's a dying breed. The CP3s, those kind of guys, they're a dying breed. And Jalen Brunson is certainly one of the newer generation guys that's of that dying breed. And Danik says he's not worth the 20 mil. If we're going to spend it, let's get a real game changer. Right. I think I agree with that, fam. I think I agree. Not that I hate the certain player or I hate the salary, but it's all about the game changer. Like you said, you got to get someone who can move the needle, who can be that game changer as well. When you're paying that kind of money to a dude, you need to make sure that he can influence the wins, the losses. He can get other people involved. He can make other players better. That's what it's all about, right? As a point guard. And Drew says, what are my thoughts on Knicks taking Mark Williams with the draft picks we have? So I could see that happening, Drew. I was thinking about that. I'm glad you asked. But I do think that the New York Knicks will likely pick up a guard more than the center. I feel a guard or a wing is my hunch as well. But I like Jalen Duren probably slightly more, who's a bit more raw than Mark Williams as well. But I like Mark Williams, but his last couple of games, it just didn't impress me. It just didn't impress me so much as well. And a buzzer says that's the attitude that got us screwed before Dolan and Walsh had to clean things up. Yeah, like years and years and years of that as well. And a Kaiser salute Utah not trading Donovan. If he was available, the Knicks would try to get him though. Yeah, absolutely they will. And people always think automatically go to the Knicks. Man, if Donovan Mitchell comes available, there's going to be 29 other teams put their hat in the ring. Make no mistake about that as well. So Donovan Mitchell has many years left on his deal. So I don't know how much leverage he has. Not everyone can pull a James Harden. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is that kind of personality to be that dysfunctional as well. So that's going to be interesting to see too. But one thing I think a lot of us agree on, I think Donovan Mitchell, his days are numbered in Utah. I think he's definitely going to get traded relatively soon at some point in the next 2 seasons, I think. And May 4th, and it's even funnier, y'all want the point guards who can't even play D. And y'all talking about all we need is a point guard. So, yeah, we need the all-rounded point guard, like you say. We need someone who can do both ends of the floor, right? That's why I'm liking what I'm seeing from Quickley. Quickley can D up. He can D up. He can shoot. He can shoot like a 2 guard. And if his playmaking gets to a serviceable, consistent point for the rest of his career as well, I think he can definitely be that backup point guard, or even better than that, even better. And Nick Yak, we don't give it if it's a free agent. Giving Randle is ridiculous. Dallas don't have 20 mil paying Luka, Dinwiddie, Hardaway, all point guards. Yep. Yeah, so you're not high on giving up Randle in that sign and trade as well. I think that's going to be pivotal, fam, to the off season. Julius Randle's value right now, it ranges, it fluctuates from it's got a lot of value to it's got no value, right? What is the truth, right? The truth is somewhere in between. I think sometimes it's situational as well. Everyone just wants to say a player's value is this much. The truth is it's situational. Is there a team out there that really, really, really likes Julius Randle ahead of all other teams? That may dictate what Randle's value will be. And I think Julius has some nice value. I feel like 20, 10, and 5, those guys don't grow on trees. If he can get with the right situation out in Texas, like I've been saying, he looks great playing out west in the West Coast, getting up and down against the Lakers, against Dallas, playing against Sabonis, going to a New Orleans possibly again. He played great in New Orleans as well. So look out for that, fam. Let's keep things rolling. This thing's on fire. Ephraim says, Brunson, I don't follow. Getting a quality point guard and Donnie Walsh mismanagement have anything to do with each other. So keeping the convo rolling. Silver says, trade Randle for a backup PG for Alec Burks. Trade Randle for a backup point guard for Alec Burks. And so that's going to be interesting to see, right? I think Alec Burks I think his days are numbered, to be honest with you. I think Alec Burks is going to get some sort of value on draft night because I don't really see that situation, the logjam, like Thibs spoke of. One of the reasons Thibs didn't really want the Cam Reddish move was because he couldn't see minutes for Cam. Not necessarily Cam the player, but he likes Burks. He likes him a lot. This is like what we're seeing. The guy's tied at the hip right now. He thinks this is his best chance of getting a win right now, and I think Alec Burks will find himself in a log jam next season. I think there's just too many other players to play, right? Unless you can get out of Fournier's deal. And like Tarek says, Evan Fournier is a real shooter, but he can't play D with penny loafer church shoes on. So, nice one. He can't play D at all, right? He can't play D. I think Evan's most effective role on a good winning team is off the bench at the moment. For whatever politics, he's earning too much money to probably come off the bench. So I caution all Knicks fans, expect to see Evan Fournier the starting two next season if we don't make some other huge trade. Even if we signed even if we drafted a nice wing, a two guard or something, I think Benedict Mathurin or something, I still think he would come off the bench behind Evan Fournier as well. So that goes to tell you how I feel about Tom Thibodeau coming back. Basically, I don't want to microwave this thing no longer. I think I want to go the slow rebuild route, and give these guys the time to shine, build their value up, just like the Brooklyn Nets did. They took on bad contracts. They got a first round pick. They got Karis LeVert out of nothing. They were the laughing stock for a couple of seasons with the KG, Paul Pierce trade and all of that, right? And when it finally backfired, the Brooklyn Nets were the laughing stock for maybe 1 or 2 years, and then they quickly turned it around with savvy moves, taking on bad contracts, getting picks back, and they managed to get D'Angelo Russell out of that. They managed to do some things, and then they've turned it around in a minute, right? I think the New York Knicks need to continue to do that. Invest in the players that are currently under contract, make them look attractive, let them become the best player they can become. And then we can see other teams call us and other deals being made available and things like that, right? We're always a team fawning over other teams' players, hoping for the pie in the sky, waiting for the savior, Donovan Mitchell or the Zion Williamson or someone like that to come, right? The truth is that we don't even know if and when that might happen. So we need to focus on who we got, under our watch right now. And we need to make sure that they've become the best player they can be. And manage these assets correctly as well, right? If we lose Mitchell Robinson for nothing, right, that's going to be crazy. There's going to be some uproar basically with that. There's a lot of Mitch supporters, a lot of Mitch fans, a lot of people high on Mitch as well. And to lose him for nothing, we spent all that time developing him. We spent all that time, grooming him into being the starting center as well. And if he walks, which I think he will, we better get something for that. Right, even if it's Brunson or someone, we have to get something out of it. We could always flip Brunson later. And Tarek says Burks over Fournier as well. Definitely in terms of the salary and all-round facets of his game. I think Fournier's the better shooter, but yeah, Burks is the better salary and an all-round game. He can defend better as well. And may 4C looking active don't mean you're a good defender. Looking active don't mean you're a good defender. Absolutely. Yeah. Being a good defender is a skill set. It's an actual skill set as well. Can you get down low in stance? Can you stay in front of your man? Can you got good footwork, good principles, good discipline, all of that length, all of that as well. Evan Fournier can try, but it doesn't mean he's a good defender. Absolutely. And Drew says, but MJ has a history of being impatient and rushing rebuilds. So I wouldn't expect MJ to overpay Bridges as well. So yeah, we're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly. We've touched on the good. Obi Toppin, Emanuel Quickly, some youth this season have finally showed some potential to be a great player in this league, moving forward, right? The New York Knicks haven't, let's be honest, we haven't had this good amount of youth since arguably the Gallinari days. And I think we have even better youth right now. So how we manage this thing moving forward is going to be critical to our success. which of these players are going to be on this team moving forward, on this winning team, on the future winning team. But the future's bright in terms of flexibility, right? Obi's gone and raised his trade value right now. If we trade Randle, I'd love Obi to stick around and be that power forward for us next season. Quickley, another one, shown himself to be a two-way player. He can defend at least now. He can score. He can assist as well. He's not that true playmaking point guard that we might be looking for. He's a bit undersized as well. But Emanuel Quickly's a worker. He's got heart. He's the right player for New York as well. So salute for them for that draft pick. I think mentally, Emanuel Quickly can handle New York City. He can thrive. He's shown it. He can do it now. This is no fluke, right? Heading into his third season, Emanuel Quickly bleeds orange and blue right now. You can see it. And as does Obi Toppin. They look to each other. Deuce Miles McBride as well. I think he's built for New York. What he becomes is anyone's guess. He needs more reps as well. Let's look for the summer league, the preseason. Let's hope he can get more minutes. But I just don't know with Tom Thibodeau here as well. Deuce McBride might be a piece in a trade, as well as Rokas. Rokas Jokibitis could be in a trade as well, right? There is only so many young dudes that Tom Thibodeau can play, right? And we know Tom Thibodeau's safe now, much to my dismay. I feel like he should be more accountable. The fact is they picked up his 5th-year option. That's the ugly, for me. The fact is they picked up his 5th-year option, so now he's locked in, which is why there's no surprise Tom Thibodeau is safe. The two coincided. It got leaked out by Woj this week that the New York Knicks picked up Tom Thibodeau's 5th-year option last season after he won Coach of the Year. So let that sink in. Leon Rose, can he make the tough call and move on from a friend, from a former colleague, client, all of that? He's not ready. He's shown he's not ready to do that right now. Let's see. I know Tom Thibodeau won Coach of the Year last season, right? But he's not the right man for this job right now, for this situation. Like I said, he's better for a roster that's ready to compete right now. Now, if you go and tell me they know something I don't know, like Donovan Mitchell's about to force his way out, or Zion Williamson about to force his way out, something like that, then, things could change. But I don't like Tom Thibodeau as a coach anyway. I don't like his offense. His defense is slightly overrated, but I feel like his offense needs to evolve. His decision-making and rotations need to evolve as well. And I'm seeing a selfish kind of Tom Thibodeau at the moment without playing some of these youthful guys more minutes, right? Again, coaching for his record, like we saw tonight, got the win, but it all means nothing, for us, in the long term. Basically, we're mathematically eliminated as well. And Drew says, CT, I like Duren. Hopefully he'll fall to us, but I think he's projected to go like 9 or 10 in most mocks as well. Yeah, that'd be a nice pickup for me. Nice raw talent, Jalen Duren from Memphis as well. I like him a bit more than Mark Williams. But yeah, this is a enticing draft, ladies and gents, with a heap of prospects and a heap of parity from picks 8 to 30. Basically, workouts are going to have a huge weighting, I think, on teams. I think that those up close looks, the combine is going to play a huge part in dudes rising and falling as well. And P Nice says Dallas should try to get Randle, Gobert, and Mitch to help Luka. Yeah, look out for what they're doing in Dallas as well. They've impressed me this season, no doubt, with that Dinwiddie for KP move. That was genius for them, right? To flip that disaster in KP that they paid that money to get Spencer Dinwiddie, that's helping them win now. That was a shrewd move. Salute Craig. Salute. If Mitch leaves Utah, it's Miami. He's going to get him as well. Yeah, I said that earlier, fam, as well. Look out for that. Like Alan Hahn said, the genius, the mastermind, Pat Riley, is not going to let that situation fall in New York City's lap. Right, he's going to put his 2 cents in there, and he's going to He's going to offer Tyler Hero. He's going to offer Duncan Robinson as well. He might even offer Bam Adebayo with that. Who knows whether the New York Knicks can compete with those kind of offers as well. We do have the draft capital, however. That's our biggest asset right now, man. We could offer 5, 6 first-round picks if needed in any deal. 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks or something as well. And Tarek says D. Mitchell has no trade clause. Has a no trade clause. Remember that. So I did not know that, Tarek. I did not know he had a no trade clause. That does obviously make things interesting. I'd never heard of that before. But I'll check that out. And 19, Jalen Duren is a 6'11 with a 7'5 wingspan. Mark Williams is a 7-footer with a 7'8 wingspan. Yeah, some crazy prospects, fam. Some crazy talent out there for those two centers in the top, possibly in the top 10, top 15 in this draft, right? This draft is stacked with depth pieces, with starting caliber talent, lacking in superstar talent, but not lacking in NBA talent, that's for sure as well. And Silva's asking how many picks we got this year. 2 or 3. We got 2, Silva. We got 2 this year. We got 1 second rounder and 1 first rounder, and we got 3 next year. We got 2 first rounders next year, Silva. We got Dallas's and we got our own in the first round. But it's looking like Dallas won't be too bad as well. Silva says Miami in a bad spot. Hero not getting them D. Mitchell. Yep, that's interesting. Yet they're certainly going to have to offer up a lot more as well. So look, where there's smoke, there's fire. But let's see. Let's really see first what Utah do. There's talks that their coach Quinn Snyder may abandon ship as well. That's going to be crazy if that happens, right? But no doubt that the Utah Jazz have made their best efforts to get to the top of the mountain, and they've fallen short just way too many times. And the West is caught up again as well. I mean, you got Denver, you got Golden State, then our quality. You got Kawhi Leonard that's going to return next year. All these other squads are missing. You got Memphis shooting up as well. So Dallas shooting up as well. So I think Utah is definitely going to face a tall task trying to stay up there for years past, especially with the dysfunction going on, right? And Kaiser sign and trade Randle for Anthony Simons or Jordan Poole. So that'd be nice moves. I agree with those. Randle, get us a younger talent, get us talent with upside. Anthony Simons, I feel like that will be a nice fit in Portland as well with Randle, Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar, and also maybe Jeremy Grant. There's talks that they'll go after him. And they got 2 first-round picks, the Portland Trailblazers, in the top 10 as well. So that could be the best value the New York Knicks get back for Julius Randle. And one thing I will note is, well, Julius Randle did raise his trade value from where it was at the trade deadline. He did start to play better after the trade deadline. There's no doubt about it. Now would a team be willing to risk the attitude, the situation, the dysfunction? I think a lot of teams will be looking at it like this. They'll be looking at it like, hey, it's not working out for New York. That's going to be different for us. Julius is closer to home. A quieter place, quieter city with his family, out of the spotlight, things like that. I feel like a West Coast team is a great fit for Julius Randle at the moment. I really do. And of course, the New York Knicks are most likely to trade him in the other division, right? The other conference. And like 19 says, Tari is a great true 6'8" point power forward, small forward. Yep, absolutely. Great length, great size as well. Good talent as well. I feel like the New York Knicks will have him on their radar. Absolutely, no doubt. Good looks for that one. We'll be breaking more of these prospects down. We've got guests coming on from the draft, offering their perspective as well. So keep a lookout for that. Like and subscribe, and we'll keep things rolling. Nick Yak, Randle is already signed. What are you talking about? As well. Yep, we signed on a extension. The extension kicks in next season for 5 more years as well. And Craig, not only hero, but Miami have no taxes and a GM that's known for winning. Absolutely, right. The track record, the sun, the South Beach, the prestige, right? And one thing I'll add, right, is that I heard this the other day. Who's in Utah is an owner who's a former favorite son of Miami, Dwayne Wade. Right, let's not underestimate that. Dwayne Wade is a co-owner of the Utah Jazz, sitting next to Donovan Mitchell in his ear each and every day. Right, so that's the seed that Alan Hahn planted the other day when he spoke on. He put a video out there on his radio show as well. Barrett and Hahn. He talked about not only Pat Riley wanting to scoop in and be a part of that situation, but he also spoke about Dwayne Wade, who's like a mole, acting as a mole for Pat Riley, talking to Donovan as well. But it's going to be interesting. I think if Donovan comes in available, all things compared, I think the New York Knicks will be able to put a competitive offer due to the draft picks as well. I think if the Utah Jazz, let's be honest, if they move on and blow this thing up, it's not to retool, right? They're not moving on from Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Quinn Snyder to retool. It's to completely blow it up, right? They've tried to get to the top, they failed, and I think they're going to try to blow things up. And what are they going to want? They're going to want young pieces, and they're going to want draft assets as well. And I don't think Miami can hang with us for draft assets. And like I said, we could straight up offer them the 4 of the second round picks we got. We could offer them the Dallas and our own picks for days as well. And I think like Utah's going to think that our picks are a lot more sexy than Miami's picks are, because we're more likely to finish lower in the standings as well. But let's see. I think Miami did make a couple bad moves. I think they're probably regretting the Oladipo move. They're regretting the Lowry move. Let's be honest, Kyle Lowry signing that deal, that was huge, but he's not really lived up to that so far, I think. 19 says we could trade Randle for Zion and then flip Mitch for Brunson and draft Ty as well. So yeah, a lot of maneuvering, but it's going to take a lot more to get Zion than just Randle, I think. And then certainly the Mitch for Brunson thing, I think, is very, very realistic. 19, I think, absolutely. And Ty Washington, I'm glad you mentioned him, because I feel like his obviously stock dropped massively after the showing in the tournament for Ty. He's Noxa, he can't get separation. He's not the best athlete. He's a nice mid-range shooter. He's a nice pick and roll point guard as well. And I think Ty might be that dude that drops in the draft. He might slide a little bit. I think Ty may slip to maybe 15, 18, possibly where like Cole Anthony's stock dropped as well. And a lot of other players' stocks rising right now. We saw the Nike Hoop Summit. Jean Montero was balling out just as I came on. It was in the third quarter. I think Jean Montero had himself about 16 points or more. He was looking nice. There's some other point guards. I think Kennedy Chandler is nice. I like him as well. Johnny Davis, JD Davison. There's a heap of young talent that's going to rise. Dyson Daniels, I think, is going to get himself into the top 10, which is going to push some more dudes down. There's also Shaden Sharp, the mystery unknown prospect from Kentucky as well. So that's going to be real interesting. Not mad at where the New York Knicks are going to pick, because we're going to find a talent. But to me, the biggest thing about not winning tonight, was that we were unable to get into that 9th spot, man. That 9th spot can get you a 20% chance of getting into the top 4. So we blew that chance now. And Kaiser is good on Brunson. To be honest, he ain't worth the 20 mil a year as well. Yep. We're after true difference makers as well. And we do fall into that trap of pining for a player that's on another team. Let's be honest, we don't always watch all their games, and we think a player is a huge upgrade or not. Until you really watch that player a lot, then you can make an informed decision. But Jalen Brunson, from what I'm seeing from Emanuel Quickly right now, I'd take my chances on a player that's young and ascending, that's on a rookie deal, right? Let him see what he can become. Deuce McBride, Rocas as well. And I know, I'm the first one to say that we can't go into another season without the point guard solution solved. So again, I sort of go back and forth on it with Brunson. I think if we could try and sign and trade, like we can get off of Randle's salary to then absorb Brunson, or we could trade Mitch to get a Brunson. I think I'd be more open to it because, like I said, salary-wise, it's just a lot to take on, man, with Brunson. Yeah, and at May 4th, Ayo Durant at point guard, shooting guard is a nightmare on 2K. Absolutely, man. Everyone balling out on 2K. Salute Fabian. What's good? What's good? The New York Knicks showed out tonight. It was hard to get mad at the win. Like I said, we missed out on the 9th spot in the Tankathon now. We'll talk about that. But it's not, you can't get mad at seeing the performance of young players in the New York Knicks jersey that are finally showing signs of being, great prospects in the league. Their strengths are coming home to roost. Emanuel Quickly and that two-man connection with Obi Toppin looks dynamic, man. This could be the next Steve Nash Amari tandem. Could it be the Stockton Malone tandem? Maybe I'm reaching a bit, but in terms of their connection, those two are connected at the hip right now. And I think if we keep those two together, they could both push each other. I think they can push each other to be the best that they can be, right? When you got two players that like each other on and off the court as well, that it shows. You see it with so many other two-man games throughout the league, right? And I think what makes me so happy is seeing the New York Knicks finally draft some young players and see them thrive as a New York Knicks, see them develop, see them reach their potential and have fun out there, right? And let's mention that for a second. As Julius Randle has been out, have you guys noticed just how much enjoyable the players look like they're playing, with hunger and enjoyment, and it looks like they are having fun. That's the most important thing, right? Playing free, playing loose, and I think Julius Randle certainly takes up too many of the touches, right? That's another thing, another ugly that Tom Thibodeau from this season hasn't been as accountable with his coaching, right? The offense running through Julius Randle has been maddening at times, and I think it's been unnecessary. Basically, you've hurt Randle's stock, you've hurt his attitude, his confidence, all of that, because you've given him too much reign, right? Julius Randle should have been reined in at the 30-game mark as well, with all this folly as well. And we should have been seeing the writing on the wall from last season. Duras, I'm cool with Fournier coming back. His value will be nice next off season. Yep. I appreciate that. That's what I was saying earlier as well. Fournier can shoot it. Teams like that, man. Imagine him one more year down. He'll be 31, I think 32. He's best 3-point shooter in New York history in one season. That's a good from this season. Let's put that down. Evan Fournier's lived up to the money he signed, but he's obviously not a good defender as well. Evan Fournier, he needs to stick into his role, needs to stay in a 28, 30-minute range as well. I'd try to get out of his contract in a big trade if we can, but I won't be mad if certainly if he comes back. And I salute D, salute. Let's get it. Obi's popping tonight, and Emanuel Quickly's confidence is growing. It's just a damn shame we only got one more game left of these things. The season's winding down, but you know what? The coverage ain't winding down, that's for sure. We got draft coverage coming up. We got off season. There's going to be plenty of content coming your way, and plenty of conversations to be had still as well with this thing, man. It's a 24-hour cycle. It's a 12-month per year news cycle with this, right? We got the draft lottery, as you know, coming up in May next month. Then we got the actual draft itself in June, then free agency July. A lot of question marks, and I said Tom Thibodeau's days will be numbered because coaches are hired to be fired, and I don't think this is on this situation isn't on the right timeline, right? Things are just going to come to a head sooner rather than later, right? The youth is just showing out too much. It's the elephant in the room, so to speak, right now. And like I said, we weren't looking like this with Julius playing. We weren't looking like we were against Miami a couple games ago. Tonight, again, it was fun seeing these players play hard, move the ball like a hot potato, get back on D in transition. Nobody out there looking lazy at the moment, right? You could talk about players, their strengths, their weaknesses, but no one looked lazy out there, basically. They're playing for one another. They're sharing the ball. Yeah, we can get a little bit too isolation heavy at times. I think we'll correct that as we get more talent. But I feel like Julius Randle, it's not the right situation for him at the moment right now. Will he be back? I won't be mad, and I won't be surprised if he's back again. But things have got to change. Something's got to change in terms of the offense, the way it's ran through Julius, his attitude. Something's got to change if he does come back as well. And I'm not a proponent of trading low as well. So if we can't get any value for Randle at all, that whole addition by subtraction thing, I think it's a bad look because you can't just be continuing to be selling players off and killing all of their value, right? We need to get something back for Julius if we trade him. Absolutely, we do, right? We're not in that situation, the New York Knicks franchise, where we have that cachet. Basically, we'd be the laughing stock if we just sold Julius for nothing. Basically, you guys tell me. What are you most looking forward to this offseason? What are the biggest question marks for you in this going into this offseason, right? It's got to start with the Julius situation. Now that we know Tom Thibodeau's going to be back, it starts with what Leon Rose does with Julius Randle, right? And I want to see Leon Rose not too influenced by Tom Thibodeau's decisions, like what he did with Cam Reddish. He swung that trade no matter what Thibs said. And Bren, salute. Rock with everyone besides Randle and grab another wing and center in the draft. Keep it moving and we good next season as well. Yep, keeping it real, keeping it simple. I like that, Brent. Rock with everyone besides Randle. Grab another wing in the center in the draft and keep it moving. Yep, keep these assets rolling. Keep building is the key theme, I think. Keep building, keep building. I think I'll still put it at 50-50 that Julius will be back at opening night. I'm not going to say that the team's just going to try to get off of him by any means necessary, but I think it's definitely a 50-50 chance he's gone this offseason as well. And I think it's leaning towards Julius. Even if the New York Knicks want to get out of Julius, I think Julius will probably somewhat agree. I think if not, he's really pushing for a move himself. The writing's on the wall. And Buzzer, salute. He's up in here strong. If you think Garland is the closest thing we have to CP3, the NBA is in trouble. And Bren likes Mark Williams, the big man. The big man, Mark Williams, definitely. The New York Knicks are going to have him on their radar. Absolutely. And we'll be talking about that more in future shows coming up with his prospects and his potential, man. I talk about off-season question marks. Probably the second biggest question mark is Mitchell Robinson, just because that's not even speculation. That's a fact that something has to happen with Mitchell Robinson. You could even put that as top of the off-season. Mitchell Robinson, exactly what happens. A young man, a young asset the New York Knicks drafted, groomed, 4 years in the system now. If we lose him for nothing, there'll be uproar. There'll be heads rolling. And I think the New York Knicks need to function like a great organization in this situation and do the right thing and either sign Mitch, give him the bag if they like him, if they believe in him, they groomed him, sign him if you like him, or sign and trade him as well. Don't let him leave for nothing. That's bad business. That's bad business. Sign and trade him or pay him the bag. There's one or the other. Which side of the fence do you sit on with Mitchell Robinson, right? Tom Thibodeau really likes Mitchell Robinson. He believes in him. I think Scott Perry loves him some Mitchell Robinson as well. So he's got some believers, some supporters in this organization, but it comes down to dollars and cents. I think what does Leon think? Brock Aller and World Wide West think of the situation? Does a enticing sign and trade become available where they just can't say no as well? So that's interesting. And on May 4th, no, it's better this season has gone exactly how it's gone. Will only make us better team in the long run. Well, that's a powerful comment you made. That's powerful. I can get behind that because at the end of the day, we weren't winning no chip this season, right? So, yeah, you've got to take the bad with the good sometimes as well. Like you say, we got to accept where we were at this point as a franchise. We made the 4th seed last season, but it wasn't really a true season. It wasn't a true 4 seed for future seasons, right? It was last season. And I think this has shown us where we're at, and it shows us the platform where we can build off of like you said, for the long run as well. And it's let us know who's the man, who's not the man, right? It's separated the men from the boys. I think Julius Randle, still a nice player. His shooting numbers have dropped enormously. Last season's biggest fluke was his shooting. And I think that opened up a whole heap of his game. It opened up his floor space. It opened up the Knicks shooters, everything. And then obviously, secondly, his attitude. His attitude has been a huge drop in terms of defense, effort, his hunger, all of those things dropped significantly. Coincidentally, I've been saying since he got paid, right? We talk about this forever in the NBA, right? And I'm not trying to target anyone's personality or anything like that, but there's a big enough sample size that when a player gets paid, their play drops off, right? Or their play rises in a contract year, right? That's no lie. Julius Randle's future secured, 5 years now, 5-year extension kicks off next season. Probably got all these incentives, trade kickers, 15% trade kicker involved. He's got bonuses involved, all those things, right? His family's set. Now, I don't think he really cares too much about where he plays. I think he might be somebody who himself might want to be out of this situation as well, right? He's playing like it, turning his back on certain things and being frustrated with the fans. And I think it's just a market. It's a product of where he is in the market right now. I think Julius Randle, again, looks great out west. He looks great, looks loose, he looks hungry, he looks fluid out west, I think. And he'll be nice on Dallas. He'll be nice. He'll be nice out there, I think. Yeah, Drew, what's this about? Say it right. Tingus Pingus. Yeah. Tarek, we fought till the end and didn't tank. I'm proud because losing on purpose isn't in my DNA as well. Hey, appreciate that. Everyone's for their certain thing. The New York Knicks, you can't teach these young players to throw games. That's a fact, right? You can't. They're playing hard. They're playing for their NBA futures. They're playing for their next contracts. They're playing for bonuses. They're playing for all of those things, right? The lifespan of an NBA player is short, right? Obi Toppin's had so few opportunities so far in 2 years. So we can't ask these players to tank the games. Absolutely. Like you said, Tom Thibodeau is the one and Leon Rose is the one that's controlling this situation right now. But whilst I'm also ultimately upset that we lost out on the ground in the Tankathon, but we show, as a sacrifice, we showed that young players are better than what we think they are at certain things. Emanuel Quickly's showing himself to be a point guard. You can play that position. Obi Toppin can hold us down at the starting point, starting power forward spot as well. And I think, you got to take the good with the bad right now. I'd rather players for the future show themselves out, to be a piece in this league. And we lost to Brooklyn anyway, so you can't really say that we're winning every single game too at the same time. So, having said that, I think we're going to fall about the 11th spot in the Tankathon situation. We'll be doing our big boards and talking all about that next week as the season winds up. But the New York Knicks are going to be in a position to draft a nice talent. There's no doubt about it. We got Dyson Daniels. We got centers out there. We got Benedict Maturin. We got Tari Eason. Tai, if they like that connection out there. There's some sleepers. You got Kennedy Chandler. I think his stock will rise as he starts to work out with teams. And I think, it's going to be heavy up in here, ladies and gentlemen, with the draft situation. But yeah, that looks like the New York Knicks will fall around that 11 to 12 range. A position they weren't in last season when they tried to move up to get Chris Duarte, and I think this season's going to be an opportunity where they can move up, to get it. Like Drew says, we need that envelope bent. We need some luck, lady luck. And it's going to be interesting to see, because of all years, right, that we didn't get into the position we wanted. Maybe this is the year, just maybe we can get some luck, right? And even with a small percentage of getting in the top 4, maybe it happens. Yeah, we're about due. Absolutely, we're about due. And Mayfor says we should think about trade everything right now, and we just got a few things. So they think we should trade everything right now, and we just got a few things. Yeah, we need to be patient. We need to be patient. Let players on their rookie contracts grow. Don't just assume there are a certain ceiling on them, or they can't do this, they can't do that. We just need to be patient with this situation, fam. But however, that said, whatever moves are conducive to building and letting things open up for other players, we need to do that. If trading Julius is an addition by subtraction, we need to make sure we can do that deal and get some value back as well. If Emanuel Quickly still has unlimited, untapped potential as a point guard, we need to explore that and give him a chance before we sign a $20 million man in Jalen Brunson as well. So this last game is going to be interesting down in Toronto as well. So let's see what happens. And P. Nice is on the trade Mitch and Randle to Dallas train as well. That's looking likely because those two players want to actually be there as well. They may acquiesce or go to the front office and say, hey, this is something we could get behind. And Sherwin says, buzzer beater, I've seen Cole at 12 years old. I was amazed by his passing in AAU. He was averaging a triple-dub. He was averaging a triple-dub in college before the injury as well. So, yeah, Sherwin's been around seeing these prospects as well. Who do you like, Sherwin, in this draft? Who should the Knicks dip into to try to trade up or grab as well? Because seriously, our scouts, our development staff, Walt Perrin, all these dudes are going to earn their money, no doubt. Earn their money when we're going up against other GMs and executives, right? We need to find that diamond in the rough. And I'll give you my thoughts on the positional need. I think we need to find a guard, a wing, or a center as well. I know we should try and take best player available in some instances, but I think with Randle and Obi, there's enough headaches at the power forward spot where we don't need to create an even bigger logjam. Yeah, we don't need to create another logjam with that situation, right? We need to free things up. Don't forget we got Cam the man, Reddish, as well, that can play some small ball 4 as well. So we need to open the doors for Cam Reddish. With that said, I've been saying Cam Reddish is a trade asset that we could look at moving, to move up. What are your thoughts on Cam Reddish? Is he absolutely a dude that needs to stay? Let me know, because I think Cam Reddish is a dude they really like. They brought him in. They want to see what he looks like. I think we're going to get all of next season to see what Cam Reddish can be, and I think they're not going to be afraid to pay him. And that's obviously going to have a huge ripple effect with Mitchell Robinson. Let's not forget that, ladies and gents. With Mitchell Robinson paying him the money, they may have that saved for Cam Reddish instead, right? Because you can only pay so many guys. You got to pay RJ, right? You got to pay RJ, and then you got to look at what you did with Cam Reddish. You gave away a first-round pick for Cam Reddish. So, let's see what happens, with that said. And Sherwin says, would be stupid to trade Randle or not to sign Mitch. Well, so a huge supporter of Randle and Mitch is Sherwin, and you want to keep these guys around as well. You think we're building on the right track? Let me know. Do you think we should build around those dudes? Bren says, Randle is a good player, just not as good as he thinks he is. Causes big problems in the New York fabric. Yep, good points with that. I feel like last season did go to his head a bit. Absolutely. Every player needs confidence. They play with confidence. They think they're the man. It's in their DNA. Randle got paid the money, the extension, and I feel like he wants the New York Knicks franchise to be run around him. So, but the truth is, he's not the guy. He's not a closer. He's a nice 2 to 3 role is Julius Randle, right? On a winning team. And we need to get more athletic as well. We need guys to give maximum effort. Like we see some of the best things we're seeing tonight and the last game in Miami is that every player plays hungry. They play with energy. They play with this new age dynamic where you need to get up and down in transition. You need to pick up guys up full court, all of that. I think Julius Randle is a great player too, but it's effort. It's all about effort that he's not willing to put in right now. And D Cool says the ball is moving a lot better without him as well. Yep, that's no lie, and that can't be ignored, right? It's obvious to see to everyone is that Julius Randle holds the ball up as well, and players don't know when they're going to get the touch or not as well. His assist numbers also needed to be higher this season, I feel like, as well, right? He needed to learn after the Atlanta series about just how to make the other players better. And Fabian raises a great question about Sexton. Good point. I think Colin Sexton will be available. Absolutely, he'll be available for the right price. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're thriving, and I think that definitely that's going to be a situation where Colin Sexton's going to be gettable. And I think he's a Tom Thibodeau kind of guy. I think Tom Thibodeau would like a Colin Sexton as well. So that may be a name that comes up in the offseason, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Sexton coming off that injury, obviously. So nobody knows how he's going to look after that. I think we're obviously going to wait to see what he looks like. And Cleveland obviously can't trade him right now because they don't want to lose any value too. So they want to see his stock at the maximum that it could possibly be. So Silver Surfer, Sexton Brunson only if they take 2 years with options as well. Yeah, that's smart business right there, but I don't see that happening. I feel like they're going to go for the bag. I feel like they're definitely going to go for the bag with that, especially coming off an injury with Sexton, right? He's going to want his future as well. And Bren says that Fournier will be fine in a Randle system. Ball movement will be the key to open him. Solid screens from a big center. Yep. And I like that last point you made about the screens. Look how good we look with Taj Gibson and Jericho Sims setting great screens too, freeing up Quickley, freeing up Fournier. That's a big underrated aspect that you raised as well. I've been noticing, when our guards, especially RJ too, can get separation from a big screen, he can get to the paint at will. And that's going to be critical for our success, right? We need great screen setters from our centers. And Duran and Mark Williams in the draft are huge bodies, right? Huge bodies that can get people free as well. And May 4th wants to move out from Randle, all that he stands for as well. And he's definitely not improved the situation with his attitude, tanking this situation, right? He's unhappy. And to be honest, we need maturity here. We need players that want to be here, that like being in here in this environment as well. It's clearly something's bothered Randle. Clearly something's bothered him. And Silver Surfer, I'd rather draft Dyson Daniels as well. Yep, I'd love that signing too, that draft. Dyson Daniels two-way, got size, got length to guard 3 positions. Look out for that, ladies and gentlemen. Dyson Daniels stock on the rise. Bren also on that train. Dyson Daniels is a situation where he will raise his stock. Absolutely. I feel like he'll raise his stock, no doubt. And Drew, salute. The Obi pick is making me think less and less of how the Knicks screwed themselves on not trading up for LaMelo. So yeah, it's amazing what happens when a prospect you draft high, you give them a chance. You play them, you give them a chance to thrive. All of that. And like Silver says, he needs more assertiveness though. Definitely, I think he's going to grow with confidence as well. With that said, right, if he's playing with a point guard that he knows looks for him, and that's one thing I'll say about Mitchell Robinson too. Mitchell Robinson's stock could have been even higher if he was playing with a point guard that looked for him a lot more. And 19, but CT, we really didn't give up anything to get Randle as well. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, that Randle signing was a good signing. Absolutely, at that point in time, it was a great signing to get. We managed to turn Randle into a great asset as well. Let's see what we can get for him. Let's see where his value is right now. And Kobe Toppin, Silver Surfer out here. Obi shooting like Kobe, that's for sure. He's shooting the lights out as well, shooting the rock. That's a swing skill. That's a swing skill for sure. That's raising his trade stock. And like 19 says, one man's trash, it could be another man's treasure. Absolutely. People around the league, folks around the league watching, they're looking at what's happening, and and what's going on. And I think they know Randle's value. They know that Randle can do things on the court. They can do certain things. No doubt, no doubt. And Sherwin says, Randle is our best player. Trading Randle is as dumb as it gets. Sherwin on that train wants to keep Randle around as well. I think Randle's, spoken. He's put things out there in perspective that he still wants to be in New York, but Sherwin, his actions don't really show that at this point. He's upset with something, right? Do you think he's upset with Thibs? Is he upset with Leon? Does he want more shine, more respect? Does he think he's the man that needs to be built around? Where do you think this has come from Randle? But Tarek says Randle got to go. After Obi's performance tonight, it just makes things more and more interesting. Not trying to pit the two up against each other, but they play the same position. And as an organization, the Knicks need to make a decision. They need to make a decision. Absolutely. Pudge Nice made a good point about Miles Turner. Yep, Miles Turner. Randle would do better with Miles Turner here. Yep, a dude that can certainly stretch the floor and open things up. And Kaiser, RJ is our best player, not Randle. Randle's a fraud. So RJ Barrett endearing himself to the Knicks fan base through his effort, his moxie. Julius Randle, not so much. When he told the fan base to S the F up, that things went south. Things went south right after that. I think that he knows it, right? He knows that, right? How many times did Carmelo Anthony get booed? I don't think he ever said things like that too, right? Just let your play on the court speak for itself. I feel like that would have won the fans back, right? If Julius Randle came back, play with maximum effort each and every night. And like I said, he plays amazing on the West Coast, right? It's like it was meant to be out there. And Sherwin wants to say Randle's not pushing for a trade. His wife loves it in New York. She owns a fashion label in New York. Okay, so that's his wife. Yeah, his wife's loving New York. So what does Randle want with New York? Does he want to be here for the long haul? To me, it doesn't really look like it. He's unhappy with a lot of the situations. Tom Thibodeau gave him a lot of faith, invested in him, and if Julius Randle is okay with being a second, third option, he might have a future in New York. But being that first option, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And with that said, we'll just take a quick intermission, and I'll be back in the blink of an eye. Just keep it buzzing, and I'll be back. Hey, salute. We back. Appreciate it. Holding it down. I'm just trying to fix this connection is what I was trying to do. Basically, apologize for the choppiness because something was draining the connection. But we back in full effect. And like 19 says, sorry to say, But Noel gave us more last season than Mitch has this season. Yeah, that's certainly a valid point. Absolutely. Noel did give us a lot, but he was an anomaly again. He stayed healthy. And this season he couldn't. Whereas Mitch has proved he could stay healthy. I think more so this season. The issue is where both of them are not durable enough for me, moving forward. And also none of them can really stretch the floor as well. We need a really solid big man that can stretch the floor as well. But Mitch has improved. He's definitely improved. But setting screens is a big thing. I love Jericho Sims' ability to set those screens. You got one more game. What if you do it again? And Sharon says, Randle is a man. A happy wife is a happy life. As well, hey, that's no lie there. A happy wife is a happy life. But I don't know if Julius is the one going to make the decisions, as to whether or not he's going to stay here for the long term. 19. Like I said, I was just trying to fix this video connection. It's still chopping up, but I'm going to keep rolling regardless. So hopefully you can hear me. Just let me know if it's breaking up too much. And May 4 says, I promise you, everybody going to be saying it, Surfer. And Kaiser, fans reacting to Randle playing bad and losing games in the clutch. The fans aren't going anywhere. So if he can't put it out of his mind, he has to go. He's here to play for us. So that's facts, right? Facts, no lie. That's why I said I'm never married, Kaiser, to any player, right? Don't matter what their name is. The New York Knicks is what I root for, right? If you're not helping the New York Knicks win, you're not helping for the future. You're invested in your own agenda, not the team's agenda. That's when I have a problem right now, right? Julius Randle needs to conform because he got paid, right? The organization invested in him for 5 more years, right? To come out in your first year and to tell the fans where to go, to give less energy, less effort, right there. That speaks volumes right there, right? That's what's really upset the fans, right? We can get behind inconsistencies in performance every now and then, right? Even Carmelo Anthony went missing in a few games here and there, but you want to be the face of the franchise, that's just not going to fly, right? That's why fans are calling out RJ's name. Why fans are calling out, for Obi. And Bren says, RJ isn't super efficient, but he is the best draft pick we made in decades. He will only get better. His attitude is solid. Guys in the league respect him and may join him in the future in free agency. That's a loaded statement and great comments, Bren. He isn't efficient for sure, but he is the best draft pick. That speaks a lot. He's got upside. He's got strength mentally. He's got the great attitude as well. Players respect him like the Heat, paying him his flowers as well after that. So great point. And like you said, players may want to join RJ in the future, right? He is a likable dude. And Drew says no balls when Obi goes off again at home. Chant Kobe Toppin. Yep. Yeah, the fans love players play with excitement, with energy as well. And May 4th, announcer on the 2K22 hyping up Toppin when he say his name, no lie as well. Yeah, he's probably got a high dunk rating as well. And I appreciate everyone up in here strong. Let's get those likes up. Let's keep things buzzing. And Kobe Toppin, people going to relate to instantly as well. And it's just catchy, like you guys are saying. And what do we got here? A Phoenix Suns fam as well. The whole NBA is frauds except the Suns as well. And let's see if the Suns can get there, man. Let's see if they can get there. I don't know, man. The West is loaded out there. Look out for Golden State, Phoenix fam. How do you appreciate you supporting the platform? But the West is loaded. I wouldn't get too giddy as yet. Chris Paul, I don't know who knows how much longer he can play at a high level, right? So I'm all about the future, right? We see LeBron crash down to earth this season, no lie. And Nick Yak, 78% of shooting, for Mitch. What did you expect? Almost 8 for 10, not enough. Lead the league in offensive boards is huge. Second chance point. And remember, 8.5 points, 8.5 boards, 1.8 blocks in the 25 minutes. Yep. Mitch Mitch has done nice this season. He's increased his value and he's grown as a player, absolutely. And I think he's deserving of that money. If we're being honest about NBA contracts being shelved out, Mitchell Robinson's earned 15 mil. Do I think he's the right fit for the New York Knicks to stick around? I don't know. That's what I'm worried about with that situation. I like a more rounded game for Mitch. But yeah, I would like to see him play with a nice point guard as well. I won't lie. Mitch with a nice point guard was going to have things popping. That'll help his game get to the next level even more. I feel like, but there's some nice centers in this draft, and I think Mitchell Robinson. I think it's going to be taken out of our hands. He's an unrestricted free agent. A lot of fans want to see Mitch back. A lot of fans don't care, and a lot of fans want to see him gone. So, but I think the situation is going to be Mitch's. He's unrestricted. He's going to choose. He's going to have an option to go to anywhere he wants to go, basically. And I think he wants to be somewhere else. I think he's not been happy with where he's been in New York. I feel like he's not been happy with the touches he's getting as well, and his role in the offense. Like, let's be honest, he posts stuff like who wants to run up and down the court for cardio, things like that, right? He's not happy with Thibs and all of that. And Tarek says, you get on Randle's game, but personal and family, though. Yeah, that's got to be out of bounds. Absolutely. Like you said, I'll get on Randle's game, his effort and energy, but people, family, all of that's out of bounds out here. And Kaiser, we can't be playing two centers that can't stay healthy. Yeah, absolutely. And paying them significant money too. Don't forget, fam, paying Nerlens Noel 10 mil for one more year, and then we have to pay Mitch 15 mil. You can't carry into next season two centers with 25 mil worth, right? We're a team that's nowhere near contention. We're trying to build right now. We're not trying to pay two centers 25 mil that aren't difference makers as well. So yeah, I feel like Mitch is a nice game. He's improved, but paying him that money, I feel like he's going to want a different situation other than the New York Knicks. And a man-child salute. What's good? What's good? The youth, and more youth as well. Yeah, in the nick of time, right? But just too late because we should have been seeing this earlier this season, right? That's the ugly. Again, we talk the good, the bad, the ugly. This is it, right, ladies and gentlemen? The ugly this season has been Tom Thibodeau has been not trusting the youth enough, not willing to give these guys a chance, right? And like I said in my argument earlier, if you're a youthful person looking for an opportunity in life, and you can only get an opportunity with experience, then how do you get that opportunity, right? He says practice, he says things like that. But the truth is, when dudes ahead of these rookies weren't playing well, why weren't they given an opportunity to play more, right? Maybe not 30 minutes, 35 minutes, but why weren't they playing? Why wasn't Obi able to play a 20-minute game for a considerable stretch, right? He was deserving of that. Yes, he made a couple defensive missed assignments and things like that, but who doesn't? You see superstars miss assignments, That's what gets me about the accountability with Tom Thibodeau, right? It applies for some people and it didn't apply for some other people, right? So at the end of the day, he made his bed. He's got a lie in it. We missed the play-in. This team was a worthy roster of making the playoffs, making the play-in, right? It was mismanagement as well. Now, secondly, another ugly from this season was that the organization traded for Cam Reddish. We spoke about it. Twitter was buzzing. The season was buzzing. Everyone was pretty much for that Cam Reddish move. It was a nice pickup. We got something for Kevin Knox. We gave away a first round pick that wasn't too much. It was a pick that might not even convey, right? So what was ugly about that was that the front office and Tom Thibodeau weren't on the same page, right? So they wanted Cam Reddish. The front office liked him. They like his talent. But Tom Thibodeau said, no, I don't really want that move. I can't play the guy. I've just got too many soldiers. So what happened is they went and made the trade anyway. They went and made the trade. And what happened? Cam Reddish came in. They had to fake they made up an ankle injury, which really wasn't. If you remember, Cam Reddish didn't really have an ankle injury. He came in, he just, wasn't available. They said he wasn't available. But the truth is Tom Thibodeau couldn't put him in the rotation and they didn't want that awkwardness. So they said he had an ankle soreness, right? So then what happened? A couple games went by, DNPCD, day to day, trying to recover from this ankle injury. Then what happened when Cam Reddish was finally ready to play? He didn't play. He was DNP CD for about 10 games, right? To me, that's not going to fly, right? As a front office, you trade Kevin Knox, a former first round pick, and as well as a future pick for Cam Reddish. If you're the front office, the president, you tell your coach to play this man straight away. Right? I don't care what happens. Find some minutes for Cam Reddish. So we basically wasted a good 15, 20 games of this season without seeing what Cam Reddish can do. Now, I know we have him under contract for next season and things like that. But I feel like that was the ugly for this season as well. More so the coach front office dynamic, right? Them not being on the same page again. And that's what worries me for next season, right? We've seen articles. Tom Thibodeau pushes for certain guys, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Morris. He wanted some input. He wasn't happy with the amount of input he had. And Leon Rose needs to know to separate the friendship from the business side of things, right? You need to separate the two, right? You can't be having your head coach telling your president what to do, right? Things like that. I know they've got to get on the same page. And Leon Rose, if he wants to build for the future and develop some more, then he needs to fire Tom Thibodeau. Simple as that. Cam Reddish needs an awful lot of minutes, right? Because he is another asset that could skyrocket, with more minutes, more play, just like we're seeing with Obi Toppin and Quickley, right? You give these guys 35, 30 minutes, they can finally get in a rhythm, right? Can you imagine what Cam Reddish could do if he's in a rhythm, right? He was not even in the rotation with Atlanta Hawks. So if he gets in our rotation and he gets a nice stretch, I feel like Cam the man could really do some stuff for us. Great size, 6'8", can has upside with his shooting, can get to the cup, draw fouls. He's just dynamic as well. I feel like he's a nice fit next to RJ Barrett. So give us your thoughts on the Cam Reddish thing. I think that was another ugly element of this season as well. It was a nice trade ruined by controversy. Basically, I feel like that didn't need to happen if the front office had just told Tom Thibodeau to play the guy as well. And May 4th, develop Mitch into what? Mitch is the same exact player he was in the first season that he is now as well. I feel like part of what you're saying is true, but I think part of he has improved in some areas. May 4th, it may not be enough, but he has improved with his defensive awareness, his ability to not foul prone, get fouled out. But for me, he hasn't improved enough. I agree with that element, and I will salute what's good. New York Knicks, no stopping Mr. Obi Toppin, quick Toppin tonight. These players, these New York Knicks young players got me excited. They're raising their stock. They're out here. Other execs are looking. Make no mistake, other executives around the league are looking at the New York Knicks, the young players as well. There's going to be phone calls abound this draft night, right? We keep speaking about draft night and just how active it's going to be for Leon Rose, the front office, taking phone calls, whether they want to move back, trade down, move up, make blockbuster deal, try to trade all the picks and young players as well. It's all going to be on the table, right? It's all going to be on the and salute Cam fans up in the building as well, up in here strong as well. And Manchol says we're doomed if Thibs and Randle stick around as well. They're definitely going to delay the process, Manchild as well. And I'm not completely for that Philly process. When I say the process, I'm thinking our own process, not the Philly process of bottoming out every single year. But truth be told, you need to give young players minutes so that they can grow. And Thibs and Julius are getting in the way. They're getting in the way of that. So we have some Cam fans. P Nice, 19 Conman, Silver Surfer. And Kaiser says at least one of them has to go, but prefer both. No, yep. Facts. Both got to go, in my opinion, as well. But Tom Thibodeau is going to be here, I feel like we said. But coaches were hired to be fired. His days are numbered, right? He might be laughing now, but he definitely won't have the last laugh. Tom Thibodeau as well. I feel like it's just a politics. Everything they're doing is just a bland political move because, they picked up Tom Thibodeau's option again, which was the ugly from this season too. They picked up his 5th-year option. as well. Not that it really matters financially. I think James Dolan's already given permission to fire whoever he likes. But I think Leon Rose doesn't want to look like a guy who just gives a guy an extension and then fires him the next year. But I think his days are numbered. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau will coach the opening night. Next season's going to be a bumpy ride if this ish continues, right? Because we need to get with the youth. We need to play big minutes for these guys, and grow their games, grow their value as well, become attractive and sexy around the league as a young up and coming franchise as well. And you guys all see it. You see these young teams out east and west that are coming up: Detroit, Charlotte, Toronto. Every team. Memphis got some great young prospects, talent. Right? If you're not ready to win a chip, you need to be looking the other way, basically, and building for when you can be eligible to try and win the chip. And I will miss the game, and I'm just now checking the box score: 35 points. Yep, on their head. Obi Toppin career high. Salute, Will. 6 of 9 from 3 was the biggest thing for me for Obi Toppin's game over the last week. Right. We all know Obi can get out and transition. He can be energy. He can be down low. He can play with pick and roll. But his shooting, man, his shooting is the biggest impressive thing to me. That's the swing skill for Obi. And May 4th, could you imagine if Noel was healthy and the way Mitch has played? Yeah, it would have been a crazy situation. Would have been a logjam, but no lie. Nerlens Noel can help this team. He had a great game this season against Milwaukee. Helped us to an unlikely win. But Nerlens Noel, I think they got suckered into last season a bit too much with that. And I think, they paid him that contract. This should have been a 1 year overpay. That was it. They shouldn't have given Noel the second year. Right. If I'm going to pay Noel, I would have said, all right, instead of 10 and 10, I would have given you 13. I would have given you 12 to stay healthy. I would have been giving you 12, and I'll given you a team option in the second year. I'll say, hey, Nerlens, you haven't been healthy your whole career, but you did well last season. Here's an overpay. Here's 12, 13, 1 year with a second year team option if you hold up your end of the bargain. But you're giving him 2 years, a guarantee that's not good. And Salute, he has more potential than Kent. Okay, who's that one? May 4th, we like Friday when Chris Tucker said Kool-Aid, no sugar peanut, peanut, no jelly, peanut butter, no jelly. And you won't catch me with a bucket while I'm mopping because I'm always on popping. 19 con man, enjoying the show Obi put on. And it's amazing when he's played with a connection with IQ, right? Those two dudes lit it up on the bench, right? And like Manchild said, I thought about this tonight, right? I thought, you know why our bench was outscoring so many people and our bench looked so good? It's because they played together a lot. They played bulk of their minutes together. But you put IQ and Toppin in the starting lineup, they're still playing together, but they're playing just as well, right? So it don't matter if they're on the bench or they're playing as starters. If they're playing together, they're playing with chemistry. They're playing, with their tendencies. They know each other. I reckon 15 to 20 points tonight from Toppin were assisted by Quickley. Go check the score. Go watch it. Right, Quickley just found Toppin on the connection so many times that every other player would have missed, to be honest with you, except maybe Derrick Rose. And May 4th says, I see people was talking that BS Obi can't shoot, but I knew. Yeah, me too, May 4th as well. I knew he could shoot. He just needed reps. He needed a rhythm because he could shoot free throws and he could shoot for Dayton as well. So he came into the league able to shoot. Maybe not as a lights out knockdown shooter, that's for sure, but at least a serviceable 35, 36, 38% shooter, from three. And like Manchild, Obi was a 39% on threes in college and never doubted him as well. Never doubted him. And what this team needs is pace. We've been talking about it. The chat's been on it all season long. Pace, 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 getting up and down. That's one of the things where, if all 5 players run, we all run as a team, as a unit. If we play with 4 players that want to run and 1 player that's not as willing to run, it slows things down heaps, right? It slows down the cohesion, the chemistry, like I said, and all of that. That's why things look so different now, because you got guys playing for their future. They're playing hungry, and we're outrunning teams, right? I mean, we blew the doors off Miami Heat in Miami. That was probably the most satisfying win for me, outside of the Boston, buzzer beater and come from behinds as well. What are your biggest wins from this season? But tonight, it's got to go down as one of them as well. Probably in the top 10 wins this season. I know we've only won 35 games, but actually, so we've won 36 games now, I think. But tonight was definitely one of them, just because of how it happened tonight. We started slow, and then we came out with energy, and we just blitzed them. We just took over, and Washington had some starters. They had Denny Avdija. They had they had Hachimura, Thomas Bryant, Gafford. They had Corey Kitzbert. They had dudes tonight, but we just absolutely blew the doors off them tonight, right? We just had the chemistry, and on top of that, the chat, May 4th's been saying as well. Let's not forget about Derrick Rose, right? Derrick Rose is this team's real MVP, and this season went down the hole when Derrick Rose went down. There's no doubt about that, right? Derrick Rose could even hold Julius Randle somewhat accountable, because he could, he would defer to Derrick Rose. He'd probably be the only player outside of RJ Barrett that Julius Randle would defer to. When D Rose went down, our chances of making the play-in went down with that as well. So with that said, Derrick Rose, was given a nice contract. That the organization probably knew it was a risk. He stayed healthy for the most part last season, but Derrick Rose just couldn't show that he could stay healthy this season. A lot of surgeries, a lot of minutes from Tom Thibodeau. And I don't want to go into next season with the risk of Derrick Rose going down again, needing a surgery or something. Then his whole value is just gone. 14-15 million dollars or whatever he's getting paid, just out the door, right? So we should trade. A smart move is to trade Derrick Rose. You guys tell me what you think with that situation with D Rose. I love me some D Rose, but he needs to find himself a home where he can win a chip. He can win a chip and sail off into the sunset before he has to face another injury on the sideline. Because D Rose has a lot of game left. Like he's got value. Not going to lie. Like D Rose can stretch it. He can get to the cup still. He's 33, 34. He's probably got 1 or 2 great years of a high level before his game will really, really drop off hole. Like it'll drop off a cliff, I think. So with that said, I think a lot of people I've seen are for that as well. Derrick Rose getting traded. Again, it's a money thing, and it's about doing the right thing for Derrick. Send him somewhere. It's going to be a bigger deal, I feel like, because his contract's not exactly cheap as well. May 4th, my favorite win was the first Philly game of the year as well. That showed me we're not far away. There was some nice Philly. There was some nice battles against Philly this season. Absolutely facts. I like that one as well. The crowd was going crazy for that one as well. I like that one. All the Brooklyn games, not going to lie, we were close in a lot of the Brooklyn games as well, especially the recent one. We just lacked a closer, like you said. This roster was a top 9, top 8, top 7 roster, I feel like, if things went right without injury. If Nerlens stayed healthy, Derrick Rose stayed healthy, I feel like, we would have been a top 8 team. Absolutely. Derrick Rose had that much influence, on this team. And like B's saying, Rose and Noel out is when our ship sunk. Yep, facts, right? 2 dudes that could get things done defensively, offensively. Could help, when Nerlens is healthy, he definitely leaves it all out there, right? He gets for those blocks. He throws his body around. He does all those things, dirty things on the floor. Just was Nerlens Noel, right? So, but with that said, the New York Knicks do have a glut of vets, right? That's the biggest thing that that is the elephant in the room heading into this season, right? Between Burks, Noel, Fournier, Kemba, and Derrick Rose, right? 3 or 4 of them got to go, right? 3 or 4 of them. Probably Fournier is going to stay, but Nerlens, Burks, and Rose, yeah, all 3 of them got to go, in my opinion, right? See what you can get for Alec Burks. Derrick Rose should be able to be just a neutral trade, just maybe someone taking on a salary for an expiring deal, just get out of his contract, and then Nerlens Noel, you may have to attach a second round pick or 2 to get out of, but that's the way we can free up some cap space this season, because I do think Evan Fournier is going to hang around, right? Yeah, like the Knicks says, D Rose needs that ring, right? That'll cement his legacy, and he's still got years to go. He's still got some game as a backup, 15 to 18 minutes per night to stay healthy. Derrick Rose, you won't find a better 6-man in the league still, right? It's just a damn shame what happened with him going down, and last season with Elfrid Payton, in the playoffs as well. So we need that. Nick Yak, Obi, and Quickly all praise, no stats as well. So hey, not a big fan. Not a big fan. They're still got ways to go, but they're showing signs to me. They're showing signs. At the end of the day, they're on their rookie contract still for a few more years. So I'm giving them that time to evaluate and see what they can be in this league. But at the very least, they're showing me that they've got value, and they're showing me that they can be a nice piece off the bench or starter still in this league. And I'm on this train as well, man, child. I watch the games now, stress-free. Absolutely, right? Stress-free. You don't scratch my head at the offense each time with how long Julius is holding the ball, all of those things, right? You just love to see the ball movement, the defense tonight, the steals. Even what's his name? Archie Diakonu played some gritty D tonight, right? He got some nice steals as well, and Nerlens, Dallas did want Nerlens. That's a situation where Dallas's name just keeps coming up, right? They want all the Knicks they can get, right? They need all the Knicks they can get. And our buzzer says Mitch still can't guard dominant 5s. That's why he bulked up. He thought he would make him a better defender. Yeah, he's got limitations still, Mitch. Absolutely right. He's still got limitations. He's still got ways to go, which is why paying, for the Knicks paying him that contract to me is still a bit risky. We need to see what we can get. But I won't be mad if they pay him. I think he deserves that contract, the money. But I want a center that can give me more, than just D and rebounding, And P Nice, Chicago would be a great story, great homecoming for D Rose as well. Yeah, and I think they'd be open to that. Let's start to look at which players or salaries could work out for some D Rose, because I know Tom Thibodeau's here again, and he's going to want D Rose back and playing him 25 minutes or something still. But like I said, it's too much of a risk. Imagine if D Rose comes back and he goes down again. That's sunken money sitting there, basically. And a buzzer says the only vets I would keep are D Rose and Taj. They know Thibs' system. Well, yeah, look, Taj will be here. I think Taj will still be here. D Rose could still be here as well. But I'm all for getting out of Nerlens and getting out of Alec Burks. Like, get Alec Burks a situation where he can play in his own position. Facts, right? May 4th, we got Obi Toppin and Meech. Sign Melo, the vet minimum. I've been thinking about this, fam. Carmelo Anthony, right? He want to get out of that LA Lakers situation ASAP, right? Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Melo went to LA to win the chip over New York, right? He had a home set up here. He had his kids set up in school, but he chose LA at the 11th hour to win the chip. And the LA Lakers miss out on the play-in, just like the New York Knicks, right? So, I think Melo's going to come back to New York. I think, if it's not with the Knicks, it'll be a maybe with Brooklyn. Yeah, I don't know, but he will definitely come back to live in New York. I think, I think he will. But yeah, in terms of minutes, May 4th, hell no. 19, Melo won't get the mins as well. That's another thing that's going to be a log jam. Rose going back to Chi-Town. Just let Melo come back to MSG. It's inevitable. Buzzer says no Melo. Tarek, you won't get much for D Rose. Maybe a second rounder. Yeah. Yep. That's true. That's true. I think just getting out of D Rose, not that he's a cancer or anything, I love D Rose being around the team, but it's about doing the right thing for D Rose, and it's about clearing some minutes, and it's about getting out of the salary. I think getting out of the salary, and yeah, if you can get a second rounder, that's nice. I think, and Melo's done as well. I think he can be, some mentors like P Nice says. I'm on that train as well. I think Melo can still teach some things or two. Can you imagine Melo with teaching Obi Toppin some training moves as well? Don't underestimate that element too. And I think Melo's in a different headspace. He ain't coming back to New York expecting to play starting minutes, 35 minutes. I think Carmelo Anthony will come back to New York for a 15-minute, a 12 to 15-minute a night role. The man's is 38 years old. Like I don't think his knees want him to play more than that right now. And it'll be. I think he wants this move for his legacy too, right? If you think of Carmelo Anthony in his NBA, which team are they going to relate him to, right? It's going to be, the Denver early days, and then the New York Knicks, right? It's not going to be the LA or the Houston or the OKC. Or the Portland, sorry. It's going to be the New York Knicks, Carmelo Anthony. So I think he really, really will want to come back to New York. I think Leon Rose, his longtime agent, will make something happen. They'll get on the right page, I think. Melo coming back to MSG is due to retirement. Yeah, like I said. And P and Ice, we need at least 3 vets. Yeah, we need some dudes with moxie, dudes that can handle New York City, dudes that can get in rookies' ears and say, hey, do this, right? I think Carmelo Anthony can be a nice dude in that situation, right? Like I said, he's not looking to be the guy no more. I think, and I think Carmelo Anthony for one more year can do a farewell tour. Can do a farewell tour for the New York Knicks, right? Because we're not going to win a chip. But if we have the right vets in the locker room, that can help. That can help these young players develop and grow. I think Taj Gibson's been good. I think been good for Mitch as well. Nick Yak complaining about Randle D and getting Melo at this age. Yeah, I think obviously there'd be a big difference in terms of salary. Nick Yak, Melo would be on the minimum. Randle's playing major minutes as the number one guy, which is why we complain more about Randle. Randle's D, and Melo coming back. Like I said, I'd only be open for it if they talked about his role, like a clear boundary in terms of his role. Be a mentor on the bench. Step in to maybe finish the game out once in a while, play 10 minutes a night, something like that. Just to retire a New York Knick. I don't think Melo's going to come here and try to help us win or nothing like that. And May 4th, don't miss me with the Melo's talk as well. So a lot of people don't want to revisit the past. The Melo's years are gone. And cheers 19, salute. We got you on the next one. Appreciate you coming through as well. Stay well. And Tarek wants D Rose to stay as well. I wouldn't be mad at all. I love me some D Rose. I like him to stay as well. I think D Rose is more good than bad, that's for sure. He's great for Obi. He makes our bench obviously really more potent as well. I just pray that he stays healthy if he comes back. But let's be honest, we talk about these vets because we need to clear minutes. We need to clear space. We got Deuce McBride. We got Quickley. We got maybe a free agent that comes in. We got another draft pick potentially. We can't keep clinging on to all the vets as well. So unless a lot of the other vets go, D Rose might need to go as well. I think just to clear some more minutes. to pave the way for the future, the next group coming through as well. And we have no system. That's a worry. Absolutely, that's a worry. And Big Reaper, salute. I agree. Like that allows young guys to see how much work it really takes. Yep, Hall of Famer like that can allow guys to see what it really takes. Yep, and the dedication as well. Yep, absolutely. Facts. Tarek says Melo would be a nice mentor. Those diva days are long gone. Yep, absolutely long gone. If you don't think Carmelo Anthony's been humbled, I mean, he's done a circle around the league. He's been through Houston. Like I said, he's been through OKC days. He's been through Portland, playoff runs, playoff battles now. He's been through a humbling experience with the LA Lakers. I think if he's coming back to the Knicks, it's for a different kind of thing, like a Taj Gibson role. Basically, look at what Taj Gibson's doing for us right now. What would be the difference between Carmelo Anthony doing that versus Taj Gibson doing what he's doing as well? Like I said, I think he could teach Obi Toppin some moves. He could imagine a draft pick coming through. Imagine if we drafted Benedict Mathurin, that plays a similar guy, Tari Eason, that plays a Melo kind of role, and them learning off a Hall of Famer, like in their first season, having a Carmelo Anthony in their locker room, teaching them some ish as well. So, yeah, I'm sort of torn. I'm not the biggest Melo fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not no Melo apologist, but I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like he could give some value. Yeah. With that said, Manshaw says Melo has never been vocal. Yeah, how is he going to mentor the youth? Yeah, he's never been vocal. Absolutely, but I think he leads with his action. He commands respect. Right. You see his training hoodie Melo runs in the Sky Athletic Gym with Chris Brickley, things like that. I think he could go toe to toe with some of these young cats in the gym, and teach them some lesson as well. Nick Yak, we all love Melo. How's he helping? So we have Obi and Melo. If getting rid of Randle is better than Randle and Obi. And P Nice's facts. Melo is a Hall of Famer. His mind is in a higher space. Yep. He's vocal as long as he's shooting 30 shots. he's coming here to empty the clip as a New York Knick. Let that sink in as well. Melo in a mentor role. Teach Obi. Yeah, so some people are for it, some people against it. I know it ends sour, that's for sure. Carmelo Anthony's legacy with the New York Knicks somewhat stained due to various things. Phil Jacks, due to, Hornacek, all these people as well. Dolan as well. 19, I'm sipping CT cheers. Oh, my glass. Okay, I got you. Appreciate it. Let's get it. Friday night, Saturday morning. Rocking out to the early morn with this situation. I'm going to miss these games as well. Going to miss watching, obviously, when the season ends, it's bittersweet. Right, fellas, ladies and gents. We got one more game. But you know what? The content in the chat, the convo is not going to stop. That's for sure. But these games are stopping. It's been, this season's gone, man, in the blink of an eye. If you think about it, I remember just opening night when we beat Boston in overtime. Some of us were in the building. You guys were there rocking out. What a crazy, euphoric win that was opening night against Boston. We thought this season was going to go some type of way. And now, look at what it's turned out to be. But like some of the wise chat's been saying, some of the lessons learned this season were probably for the better. Right. The success wasn't there this season, but the lessons that were learned were for the better. Right. We learned that, Randle and Thibs and some of their games weren't where they need to be. We learned that RJ's grown, quickly, and Toppin have a future in this league. Mitchell Robinson's taken a step up, earning a contract, finally earning a contract for himself. Jericho Sims has a future in the league. Cam Reddish, nice trade there. Derrick Rose and some of these vets, we learned that we may not need to keep them around as well. So more bads than goods this season, but there's certainly been good, bad, and the ugly as well. We've been chopping this up for a minute as well. We'll keep things buzzing for a bit more, and then we'll get ready to roll into next week. We got one more game in Toronto. Let's hope Alec Burks does not start. Again, I'll be dumbfounded if Alec Burks starts. And P. Nice, one of the best scorers in NBA history, right? Again, you could learn, you could teach, you could humble some dudes as well with Carmelo Anthony. And I'm not a dude trying to push for the move. I just think it's inevitable. I think Leon Rose will want to bring Carmelo Anthony in here. And Kaiser, I liked Melo when he was here, but no sense in bringing all these old players back. So, yeah, I'm torn. Like I said, I know he'd sort of take up a roster spot, maybe take some minutes from Cam or something, but I just think it's going to play out a different way than what you guys might be thinking. I don't think Carmelo's going to come up in here and play 25, 30 minutes. I think he'd come up in here and teach, he'd battle Cam Reddish in practice. He'd battle Obi. He might play 15 minutes one night. He might play 30 minutes if there's an injury, something like that. For one season, we've seen worse things, right? We signed Bobby Portis to 15 mil, right? We signed Marcus Morris to 15 mil. I think Carmelo Anthony coming here can do more good than bad. I honestly think it can do more good for just 1 year. I'm not talking about multiple years. I'm not talking about giving him a multi-year deal. Just a 1 year farewell tour. Come in here, do a mentor, sail off into the sunset. Maybe move into a sideline gig or something like that. Kaiser says the Knicks have to stop kicking the tires on all these old players. It's time for the Knicks to no longer be the nursing home of the NBA as well. Yep, I agree with that absolutely. With the Nerlens situation, D Rose, we do need to get with the youth. We certainly do, man. We need to get with the youth ASAP. And in terms of that said, Joakim Noah, fittingly, Joakim's money comes off the books finally, man. A dude that was too lit for New York. That's the wrong kind of vet move. That's where signing the vet goes the wrong way. Joakim Noah, $72 million. We'll never live that down. Thanks, Phil Jackson. But Carmelo Anthony on a veteran minimum won't be nowhere near as bad as that. And salute Jet Life. Hope you're well. Salute. Let's get it. This season's gone through. We're going through the ringer, but basically it's been over in a blink of an eye, right? We got the draft coming up, free agency, and I can't wait to see what happens next, right? This never-ending saga, New York Knicks. What happens, right? Stay tuned on the next episode because these dudes are just filling roles. They're just keeping the seat warm. Leon Rose, to Tom Thibodeau, right? I don't see us winning a chip in Tom Thibodeau's timeline. I hope Leon Rose's timeline, but I just don't know. He hasn't shown himself to be an experienced enough executive to get shit done. I feel like Gerson Rosas is up in here to try and oversee things, right? Johnny Bryant's here to oversee things, right? So let's see. Tarek says Melo can teach Ob one-on-one. There are different mentor styles. One-to-one, exactly. Yeah, one-to-one. You could teach them different mentor styles as well. And don't forget, Melo helped Randle a little bit. That isolation jab step, from the practices. Carmelo Anthony did help Julius Randle take his isolation game to a certain type of level as well, because Julius Randle wasn't known as a nice isolation scorer as well, but Carmelo Anthony did get with Randle a bit as well. Nick Yak, Randall's tantrum's bad, Melo tantrum good. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, to see. So do you guys think it's more likely that Melo is going to be a New York Knick for one more season? Maybe they run it back in LA. Maybe, maybe they surprise us all. There's talk that Russ spoke to Bron and said, let's all run it back. But to be honest, I don't know, man. I think LeBron James doesn't really like to miss the playoffs or the play-in, right? He usually scoots out of there ASAP. Right? When LeBron James misses the playoffs, you might be looking for the next plane ticket. And the Knicks, I always wanted Melo to get a ring, not be a Charles as well. Yeah. Melo and D Rose, maybe they both need to go to Chicago. Remember when Carmelo Anthony turned down Chicago for that free agency that big free agency where Melo almost left the Knicks but chose the money. It'd be funny if Melo and D Rose go back to Chicago and Chicago get to the top of the mountain as well with their young cats out there. That could be a nice fit. B says, I remember opening night when we beat the Celtics and was fooled to think we was a 45 to 50 win team. Yeah, it took a double, triple overtime to beat Boston, but there were some good wins. Like, look at Boston right now. They're doing some crazy stuff right now. Ime Udoka could be in contention for Coach of the Year. But God, do not allow Melo nowhere near Obi, glowing innocence. Yeah. Don't be surprised if he's already been in Obi's ear May 4th. I think they got the New York connection. Melo's around the gym in the summer runs as well. I think Melo's influence is all over New York. But in terms of the locker room, I see what you mean. I really don't know what Melo did this season too. He didn't really get too much of a chance with LA, but Portland. But yeah, he definitely should have stayed in New York. I feel like he went to LA obviously to chase that ring, and it didn't work out. And a buzzer doesn't want Melo, keep Melo away from Obi. He mentored Kristaps, and look what happened. Melo mentored Randle. Look what happened. No Melo. Okay. Yep. Connecting the dots with Melo and Randle and Melo and Kristaps. They were definitely different times. When Melo was mentoring Kristaps, Melo still thought he was the dude in his mind. 3 to the dome. Carmelo. Like I said, I think he's been humble. He's been around the league 3 times almost. He's been to Houston, OKC, Portland, and now LA. He's played on 4 different teams since he would become a New York Knick again. Sherwin M's is MIA when Obi and IQ have good games. No, I see what you see. Sherwin definitely came up. He came up represented tonight. Did Sherwin? He spoke about it. But yeah, his opinion doesn't change. He wants Randle and Obi out of here. He said Quickley's growing on him. Actually, he said he would prefer Quickley over Brunson. So that was interesting from Sherwin. Even he can see when the youth is worth building around. In terms of Obi Quickley's on the rookie contract, and Jalen Brunson's going to cost $20 million. So there's a huge decision to make out here. Nick Yak, Rose, and Kemba already signed next year. Melo would make 3 broken players. Yeah, that's another situation, right? And if Melo does come, whose roster spot is he taking? As P. Nice says, it's definitely happening. But yeah, whose role is he going to take? Maybe Nerlens. Maybe you swap Nerlens out for a Melo. Maybe D Rose gets traded as well. Burks. Like I said, I think Burks is redundant because you got Cam and you got Quentin Grimes, right? So let's start there. Let's say Quentin Grimes and Cam are your dudes that take up the wing minutes, right? Then Carmelo Anthony can just be the third backup, third insurance policy, playing if there's an injury, going at them in practice, things like that. I think Carmelo Anthony could take on Alec Burks' role. If you can get a first, second round pick for Alec Burks, Carmelo Anthony can do just what Burks is doing, but he could help us close some games out as well. And guys, I don't want Melo to teach Obi to be a one-on-one ball stopper. The NBA is different now with ball movement is king. I need Obi to become a better shooter and a little bit better ball handler. Yeah, I agree with the shooter and the ball handler, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, Obi's shown so much different versatility, flashes that Randle doesn't have in his game. Yeah, Randle's a bully, back to back to the basket. His body, his size, he's a freight train headed to the cup. But Obi Toppin can just do so much different stuff. He could shoot the fadeaway. He can post up as well. He's a great passer out of the double. When he's posting up, he can spot up from 3 now. He could beat his man off the dribble. If, like you say, if his handle gets tighter, I think Obi Toppin's got a big arsenal, but he could learn a lot from Melo as well. And a buzzer says, CT, no Melo. He ruins teams. No way do we let him in the building. With Leon Rose here, it might happen. Now, he might surprise us. It might not happen. But I feel like Carmelo Anthony he's going to be back in New York, right? His wife, his kids here. He's got business here. There's, like I said, there's Brooklyn too. Don't rule out Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn, don't rule that out. And 19, if we bring back Noah, I'm done. Man, Joakim Noah, I think we'll run him out the building. Right? Even if Leon Rose signed Noah, he wouldn't make it to training camp. Right? There'd be a protest out here. And Tarek says, I'm on point. You see the big picture, chess, not checkers. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, everyone's got an opinion. This is what we do. We talk about it. We shout you out. Keep it 100. Healthy Knicks talk. I brought it up because I've been thinking about it for the last 2 weeks since I put the Melo video out there. I feel like, you know, his legacy will always be back to the New York Knicks, right? His legacy won't be Denver Nuggets. It won't be, you know, Charlotte. It won't be Portland. It won't be OKC, and it won't be Houston, and it won't be LA. So if I'm Melo and I'm thinking about, okay, what's my legacy? What's my legacy? All right, let me get back to New York. Let me get back to New York and finish up. Also, the second thing is we know how loyal James Dolan is, right? He signed Amari Stoudemire to a one-day contract just so Amari could retire a Knick. So let that sink in. Now, Carmelo Anthony has a much huger New York Knick legacy than Stoudemire does. So I feel like James Dolan and Leon Rose are going to think it's some kind of sexy marketing move. You know, don't forget they signed a washed-up Kemba Walker to put him on the City Edition commercial, right? Can you imagine what it could do for the new City Edition next year to do a Stay Mellow commercial? You know, that's going to sell some jerseys. You know, those people with the old Carmelo Anthony number 7 jerseys, right? James Dolan's all about biz. He's not necessarily about the games and the things like that, right? Stay Mellow new 2023 City Edition jersey, Stay Mellow forever kind of thing, right? That's going to sell some cash, and I feel like that's what the Knicks are going to nick with that situation, right? You know, Kemba Walker came up in here and stole the show from Randle on the commercials, but yeah. On another note, you know, P Nice says Spider will run the Johnny Bryant pick and roll. Yeah, that's seriously, like I said earlier in the show. If you missed it, I think there's real legs to Donovan Mitchell. That's one thing I really feel strongly about. The Zion thing, I'm not so sure, but Spider Mitchell days, he won't finish his career in Utah, right? So it's only a matter of if and when. And you know, you see the interviews, you know, you see the shows we do with Mark Berman. You know, he obviously talks about what he knows, and you know, he's met up with Donovan in the summers. You know, some charity events and some things he sees, and he spoke to Donovan. You know, I have a feeling he spoke to him off the record as well. He sees how happy Donovan Mitchell is in New York. His father works for the Mets. He comes back every offseason. He's from the area. He wanted the Knicks to draft him. It's hard for me to see Donovan leaving the Jazz one day and not having the New York Knicks as a destination, at least. Like, whether he becomes a Knick, I don't know. But I think Donovan Mitchell has the New York Knicks as a destination, at least. So I feel like there's real legs to that, to the Donovan thing. But who knows how soon it's going to happen, because, yeah, of course, he's under contract. So, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see. But let's keep building with our youth. Let's keep building through that avenue, right? We need to get that right, become a more attractive destination. Let's keep building through that. We got Cam Reddish. I want to see him get a lot of minutes, you know, next season at the wing. And that could be a reason why the Knicks don't draft another wing as well, like a Benedict or someone, right? They might believe in Cam Reddish too much. So maybe look out for center, look out for a point guard in the draft. And also don't rule out us trading the draft pick, right? You know, that draft pick falls in the top 10. That could get us a solid vet. You know, that seriously opens the door for a Colin Sexton move, right? If Colin Sexton is surplus at Cleveland, do you not think they would take a top 10 pick for Colin Sexton, knowing that they got Garland and they got other dudes and they're balling out? So I think, yeah, I could see Tom Thibodeau, because he hates the process, trying to push Leon to trade this draft pick as well. I feel like, yeah, they could seriously try to trade this pick as well. But we're going to plan like we are going to make the pick. We're going to do all the draft coverage leading up. We've got 2 months out to the draft as well. Nick Yak Melo is not retiring. He worked hard to get back to basketball. Yeah, that's another thing too. I think he's definitely going to try to stay in the league. Right, he'll go play in Utah if Utah give him a contract. Right, if Utah's the only team that will give Melo a contract, I think he'll play still. But I think his preference would definitely be to come back to New York. Absolutely. What do you guys got? This isn't Duke, folks. Zion is officially obese. Yeah, I think it's a concern. He's overweight. I think he's working his way back. By all reports, I think he will try and play this season. The Pelicans are in the play-in, so that's going to be really interesting as well. And P. Nice is a 2-year vet minimum deal for Melo as well. One for the road. Just give him 1 and 1 for the road as well. For all the things that he's done, the loyalty and things like that. Retire 30 too, right? Yeah, that'd be a nice move. If Julius Randle does end up on another team, maybe they try to save face by just retiring number 30, right, to steal the spotlight and make sure no one rocks a number 30 ever again. Kaiser says bringing Melo back would be the step in the wrong direction for us as well, where we're trying to go. Well, I could see that too. I could see it backfiring as well. I see both sides. I really do. I could see Carmelo Anthony, the second thing to age of a person is their mind, right? Carmelo Anthony's body is aging, but his mind may still want to be, some type of player as well. But I feel like the front office, if they did make the swing, they make things clear for him as well. Yeah. And Manchel, who knew Melo would be the journeyman as well? Yeah, craziness, right? Absolutely craziness out here in terms of what's been going on. And it's been over. Let it go for that situation with Melo. I feel like Melo is a dude that will definitely be thinking about his legacy. I'm not lying, And shout out to Queens. Yep, shout out to everyone worldwide. New York City, first and foremost. Everyone out here representing as well. This is what we do. New York Knicks fans alike, everywhere around the world, and this thing's strong. We're huge up in here. Got the streets buzzing. And Zion definitely does look big still. That's going to be his concern all throughout his career. It's definitely going to be the biggest concern. Can he stay healthy? And what is Zion's role in the NBA? Like what is he, a number one on a team? Let's say he gets back healthy. Do you guys think Zion can be a number one on a team? Right? Can you run an offense through him? Can you rely on that? I mean, we're a long ways off. We need to see what he looks like. And it'd be the biggest Knicks thing to trade for Zion, invest in that huge supermax, and then he ends up Greg Oden. Right? Could you imagine that? Right. I think the Zion thing's secondary. I think Donovan Mitchell is the real thing we're looking at right now. Don't forget. And call me crazy, but maybe a Jimmy Butler as well. Maybe Jimmy Butler has outstayed his welcome for the Miami Heat. Don't rule that out, because Pat Riley doesn't tolerate. How he runs these things super tight. He doesn't tolerate a player disrespecting the coach, going back and forth as well. So what do you guys all think about a Jimmy Buckets situation out here? P. Nice's RJ back to the shooting guard and have Fournier off the bench. Yeah, I'm with that. I like RJ at the shooting guard because I think we need a extra size. We need a slashing wing that can also shoot really well. Cam Reddish, hopefully he's that guy, but we need to see. And Zion Williamson is a bill, and Zion in Thibs and 300 pounds, hands down, better than Randle in the dunk contest. Can you imagine Zion in his first year in New York with the dunk contest, like Cole Anthony in the Thibs, rocking out, slamming it down from the free throw line, and then blowing his knee out? Oh man. Yeah, Jimmy Buckets means RJ gone. I think those two could ball off each other. But yeah, I think Jimmy's getting older, man. He's getting older. I'm not sure what his contract's like, but Pat Riley's looking at the next thing. And like we always say, Pat Riley's a shrewd operator, and he's going to be looking at maybe Jimmy buckets for a Donovan Mitchell swap. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a sacrificial lamb in Miami if Donovan Mitchell goes there as well. And I think Jimmy buckets is getting towards that age. That's going to be real interesting. Salute YYC. Magic was right. We needed Lonzo to help us play a pace game with the youth. Yep. Yeah, I think so. I think we definitely look different tonight, man. You see Quickley with a bolt up his, you know what? He was running up and down. He was pushing the ball up the court straight away. That's what we need. And then the moment we got the defensive rebound, Quickley, Obi would leak out. Quickley would be onto it straight away. You could tell that they've preached that in practice as well. That's the dynamic you get when you have Obi on the floor for 35 minutes, right? Before it was in a small spark sample size, 18 minutes or 10 minutes. But the other team's power forward can't keep up with Obi Toppin for 35 minutes, running up and down, right? They're just going to get worn out with that. So yeah, Obi, if he's on the right page with whichever guard comes in, like I said, I'm cool with Obi starting at power forward next season. I think he's earned that look right now. What we're seeing, right? See what he can look like playing a split minutes, maybe even 25, a 25-23 role or something with another power forward that we might draft or something else. Maybe Cam Reddish playing at the small ball 4 as well. But either way, for me, to summarize and wrap up, Obi Toppin's shown me some things that it's opened people's eyes. The way he's shooting, we're seeing his energy for 35 plus minutes, like we've been seeing, and we see what a team looks like when a big man and a guard can play off each other well, right? That chemistry, that cohesion, like a Nash Amari, Stockton Malone, that a nice duo from front court to back court connection, right there. Those guys got drafted together. They practiced together. Chemistry is underrated. Is underrated. I think chemistry is underrated, and I feel like these two, we got to keep. If we keep Quickley, we got to keep Obi. If we keep Obi, we got to keep Quickley, because the two of them, take some stopping. Basically, they look like a force out there as well. They got the connection on the lob. They just need to make that eye contact, and they know that one's going to go back door or not. And I feel like on the leak out, when Quickley gets the ball off the rebounder, he knows that Obi's going to leak out everywhere as well. And I think, like Manchild's hitting on it. I don't think IQ's going nowhere in no trade. He was in hot demand at the trade deadline. Lots of people was calling for IQ's name, and I think the calls are going to even increase on draft night, right? To the point where, man, teams might be so enamored with Quickley, Obi, or Cam Reddish, that could be the difference maker from the Knicks getting from the 10th spot to the 6th spot, maybe even in the top 4 with some picks as well. So, like I said earlier in the show, the very worst thing to happen is that the New York Knicks young players are raising their trade stock to the point where the Knicks have a lot more options as well. So, with that said, we're getting ready to wrap up. You guys got the streets buzzing tonight as well into the weekend. Hope everyone rocks out this weekend. Keep it on 100. And we got the final game of the season. It's bittersweet against Toronto. Let's see if this form can continue right now. But the future is certainly bright. The New York Knicks organization got some young pieces, got some assets. Let's see what they do. Right? Let's manage this situation. We went through the good, the bad, the ugly. My thoughts. I shout out all your thoughts. Let's keep this thing rolling. And we'll see you on the next one shortly, in the New York Minute. Stay well, and I'll see you soon. Peace.